and public contracts. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
Alabama's new Parents' Right to Know Act goes into effect this June. The new state law mandates that public schools post their classroom curriculum online. The law also allows for parents to file complaints about any objectionable content. Those complaints will be annually reviewed by the Alabama Department of Education and then reported to any state education policy leaders. The Parents' Right to Know Act was passed this year by state lawmakers within the 2024 legislative session. The National Weather Service assessed an area in Franklin County this past Thursday. An EF1 tornado is confirmed to have touched down, causing hundreds of trees to fall. There's a lot of cleanup work ahead for a nonprofit organization called Bear Creek Collaborative. That group operates for students and have seen a lot of their trails blocked by all of the downed trees. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program on a Friday. Call it News and Views in the afternoon here locally. Joey Clark live online. 272-9228 as the big boy said. If you want to join the conversation, it really is a Friday free-for-all. I've got, Eddie Bader and Craig Munger in the house, and I feel like we look good today.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think we do.
I think we do too.
Yeah.
We're looking because outside the fishbowl there, we got a couple eyes on us, so we must be looking.
Oh, Cheryl.
Oh, there was Jay there for a second too.
Oh, well.
I think they were surprised by our fashion.
Right. Man, there's so many different ways to go today. But, I can't stop thinking about this one thing in particular because I need to stop watching stuff like this. It's called cable news. Yeah. And, I didn't see it live. I refuse to watch any of this crap live, especially my adopted godfather, Sean Hannity. That guy, he just drives me absolutely up a wall.
Gotcha.
It's like, ask a question, Sean.
No, he has to talk all the time.
You have Lindsey Graham, a United States Senator, on. Let Lindsey talk.
Oof.
But it's not just Hannity. There's a show on MSNBC.
Oh.
What's her name? Joy Reid?
Oh, Joey. Tell me you don't sit through that.
Is that the lady who looks a bit like a worm?
A worm?
A worm.
Like a dune worm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
He's an al-Khalib.
Yeah, I didn't think of that until you just said it. I'm like, it's accurate.
No, wait, no, he's not. Lisa al-Khalib is like the Messiah figure.
Right.
What do the Fremen call the worms? Oh my gosh!
I don't know. I'm
This is
not
gonna
that much of a nerd.
It's at the tip of my tongue. It's going to drive me crazy. Just go into what you were saying.
What have you seen though? The latest Dune?
Yeah, the
part
second
2?
Dune. Oh yeah, I
That's
saw it.
freaking
Me and the
great.
wife watched it. It's fantastic. It's like you could. It's rare to find a movie where it's like, oh, it's a good storyline. It's unique.
Yeah.
It's well made. The action scenes were fantastic, and not a booby in sight.
Right.
There were implied boobies. There was implied sex.
Right.
But there was no sex, and it's like this is something I can enjoy.
Yes, I thought it was actually a pretty good movie.
How
Like
long-
they actually pulled off a sequel.
How long was the movie? Was it?
It's like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. It's not like the Lord of the Rings where
Yeah,
it's like
that's what I
4
wondered. Right,
hours for the
that's what I
second
wondered.
movie,
Right.
which I still think it could have been longer, and I still would have watched it.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Yeah.
I think all that's true, but
Yeah, don't tell me she doesn't look a bit like a worm with
Oh,
like
kinda.
a curly wig on.
yeah, no, I think that's allowed.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a real
that's
hair
allowed.
right there, just so you know.
That's not. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Have
I'm a
you
little
ever,
slow
you
today.
insensitive bigots? Have you ever heard of alopecia?
Yeah.
Keep my wife's name out your
I've
mouth.
also heard of weaves that cover up nappy hair.
Yeah, isn't it so funny? Isn't it so funny that you'll hear people complaining when you'll hear like black folks complain whenever white guys or white women have dreads.
Yeah.
And they say it's cultural appropriation. Meanwhile, they're wearing Asian lady hair most of the time.
Right. Well, I'm just thought of a Ricky Gervais joke that would get us all in trouble.
I'm not. See, I don't know what you're talking about, and so I'm super curious.
Well, so Gervais said, it's right after Gwen Stefani got in trouble for having her, blonde hair and dreadlocks.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're like, oh, that's cultural appropriation. Or if, some chef in Britain cooks up a, original jerk chicken. No. Black folks came up with that. But then you hear black folks say the N-word all the time. It's like, we came up with that one. All right. It's a good joke.
That's a well done joke.
It's a well-crafted joke. Ricky Gervais, professional at his trade. But no, there's been this story ongoing for a while, and it's because I think, of course, Mr. Byron Donalds of Florida is in the running to be VP. I think he would
think he's gonna
actually
get
be a great pick. For me, I would pick between him or I do like Doug Burgum. The more I watch Doug Burgum, I'm like, yeah, Doug
so
would
much
be a
a Rubio guy?
solid pick. No.
Good.
No, I'm not going for Rubio.
Good.
Like, he's been good lately. He's been pulling off the
still.
theater, defending Trump to the hilt. And, I don't understand the love for Tim Scott.
Me neither.
I just don't get it. He doesn't, engage me.
Right.
See, to me, the love for Tim Scott is the same love that they had for, what's his name? Mormon guy, ran for president.
Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney, yeah. Back in the day, I would see people heaping praise upon Mitt Romney. I'm just like,
Never got that.
I mean, the
Can't say
guy who says hot dogs are not only my favorite meat, they're the best meat. In buns, out of buns. If you think I'm making that up, folks, I can find the clip.
That's a real
Lindsey
deal.
Graham said, you're stealing my line.
So, and by the way, we'll get to the fact that, and it's fitting today, as people are celebrating the Butter Mountain that won fake Miss Alabama. It's National Donut Day.
I'm hearing that that's not like an actual, it was like an inferior sub.
Amy Beth Shaver explained it in
Because
detail.
she was a beauty queen.
Yeah, she was Miss Alabama.
Yeah,
For-
sorry, Amy Beth. I didn't say she was a beauty queen. You were Miss Alabama. I know.
No, and you can see it. You're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You are.
She's
Beautiful.
quite lovely.
And she said it's what? Miss America's the big one, the grandmother of them all. And then Miss USA's it's still fairly old, started in the 50s.
The whole thing is, no offense, Amy Beth, the whole thing is creepy to me, so I don't know the details.
When actually the split was over whether or not one piece or two pieces had to be worn during the swimsuit competition. Which is to your point.
Isn't the whole thing just it's stupid?
Right.
It's not like bodybuilding. So bodybuilding, for instance, it is a pageant. It's not a sport. But it's not like you're not putting someone up there to do anything other than to see their musculature. It's like we're putting these women up there how hot is this one?
Right.
And then we try to pretend like they have pointent,
And they have
incoherent
talent.
thoughts.
Don't forget, we check their talent.
Yeah, okay. But it's
Oh, I'm checking that talent.
Right. So we're
I'm
like,
talented.
yeah. Have you ever seen someone eat a family bucket from KFC in 5 minutes flat? Well,
And
get
never
ready.
forget, as we go on this rant, and we'll get to this, I'm just setting the table a little bit. Donald Trump loved beauty pageants.
Oh, yes, he did.
He really, you're getting a little chubby, I think.
I think it would like
Eddie,
so much this one.
have you been eating the wrong peanut butter again, Eddie?
But of course.
Okay. If you're gonna tell my behind the scenes story,
No, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
We'll
Okay,
get to
thank
it.
you.
Back to Byron Donalds. Because I think he is if not the front runner, very close to being Trump's VP.
Yeah.
Everything Mr. Donald says has to be held under scrutiny.
Oh, okay.
And so Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader of the Democrats there in the House of Representatives, came out this week based on some clip of Donald's at a small get-together, I think back home in Florida. And he said that Donald's praised Jim Crow.
Oh, yeah.
Donald's praised Jim Crow. And so Donald's has since been on, I think, Abby Phillips' show on CNN, and then he decided to do Joy Reid's show. And I for some reason, put myself through this morning, thinking, what's going to happen here? What happens here is, to me, an astounding leap of logic and using an incredibly tragic story to completely miss the point. So let's listen in. To Joy Reid's credit, or to her producer's credit, they play the full tape of what Donald said. So let's just get into this now, because it's been bothering me since I watched it this morning.
Some recent comments by Florida Congressman Byron Donalds have been condemned by House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Congressional Black Caucus, the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Jamie Harrison, and the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, just to name a few.
Right.
In those comments at an event designed to help Republican outreach to black voters in Philadelphia earlier this week, Congressman Donalds made what certainly seemed like positive comments about the Jim Crow era.
Now, I got to stop there. I wonder why he's being attacked. Oh, it was an event outreach to black voters for Republicans and for the Trump movement in particular. So interesting there, but let's keep going.
And he claims his critics are missing the context of what he said.
They are.
So here's the context.
I grew up with my mom. My dad and my mom, things didn't work out. As an adult, I look at my father and I say, bro, I don't know what happened, but you my father and I love you. Wow. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. Wow. But I'm going to tell you this. Growing up, the one thing I knew I wanted to do, and this is not about my father, this is about what I wanted to do, is I wanted to be a father to myself. Wow. And so one of the things that's actually happened.
Okay, so far he's talking about family and being forgiving his father.
Did he not know? I'm assuming he grew up without his father just based on what he's saying.
Or bad relationship or something like that. So it's almost like he's forgiving his father and he wants to be a great father.
Amen.
So far, so good. And this was in Philly, apparently. Let's keep listening.
In our culture, which you're now starting to see in our politics, is the reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are. What's happened in America the last 10 years, and I say it because it's my contemporaries, it's Wesley's contemporaries, you're starting to see more black people be married in homes, raising kids. It's when you home with your wife raising your kids, and then you look at the world, you're saying, now wait a minute, time out. This does not look right. How can I get something to my kids? It goes back to the conversation of generational wealth. Not just having a job, generational wealth.
So to their credit, they play this whole clip before she introduces Donald.
I haven't seen this, but I can't wait to see what problem she has with what he just said.
Well, she brings up, just to preface it, we live here in the heart of Jim Crow. Maybe you could argue Mississippi was more so, but you can imagine awful stories. So she brings up just an awful story.
Mm-hmm.
And the use of it to me is like, are you just removing everybody's agency because they were oppressed and persecuted in that era? Like, Donald's is making a pretty common point.
Yeah, Thomas Sowell made this point 20 years ago.
Yeah, and most folks are quite aware of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a lot of this come out and say the Manhattan Institute, Thomas Sowell, is that even under the oppression of Jim Crow, there was much more stable black family formation.
Yeah.
There were even under systems of oppression, not just in the Jim Crow South, but in some rough parts of other big cities in the country, economic gains and opportunity. Of course, yes, there is a racist history of this country, and there are many stories you can pick from. The point is, even under those systems, black people were able to still stay together, build communities together, and remain strong. And in fact, I think this is where you get the good side of the solidarity play.
Yeah, forget about black people for a second. People
yes
flourish better under oppressive regimes, and systems, ideas grow under oppression. That's look at Christianity in the beginning of the millennium, the last millennium.
Right.
They were super oppressed and they flourished, and I mean, historians have argued many times that they flourished because of the oppression, because oppression causes a binding together. It's like if my group is being oppressed by the higher ups, then we have no choice but
we have to work
we
together.
have to bind together.
And they're going to group us anyway, so we have to
Yeah.
we have to push back. You see it also in the Jewish experience throughout a lot of history as well.
100%. And so this isn't just a point about black people. This is a point about people in general. It's typically when things get rough, people bind together. They find ways of creating solidarity, creating
And of
communities.
course-
That's what happened in Tulsa, for God's sake.
And of course, we know the rest of the argument from Thomas Sowell and others like him is that after the civil rights movement, in particular, though, after the Great Society programs, less MLK and civil rights, more the welfare state set up by Johnson, then you start to see, not just in black families, but it hurts the black family the most, in white families, all families, you see this breakdown of family structure. You could also lay that at the feet of liberalized divorce laws. There are a lot of things you could lay it at the feet of, but the welfare system wasn't great. I've also heard plenty of interesting discussions, John McWhorter's coming to mind, about some of the downsides of the Black Power movement, some of the stuff that was going on in the 70s. Really just changed the culture in a way, and it had its, negative effects.
I will say that it is a shame that MLK's ideology prevailed, it seems, over against Malcolm X's, because Brother Malcolm's idea was one of self-sufficiency and not relying on the altruism of the state or others.
Right.
And even though obviously he was a through and through separatist, he at least had his head on straight about that. Whereas MLK, I mean, say what you will about him, he was a Marxist through and through.
And also the story isn't completely told, and you're anticipating what I'm going to say, and what I thought of at least when I watched this clip, is that we have this, I think, Marvel movie version of American history that it was just the nonviolence movement.
Yeah.
No. And in fact, some of your strongest NAACP chapters are in some of the worst parts of Mississippi. Why? Because they took advantage of the Second Amendment rights.
John Brown comes to mind.
I'll go way back.
Yeah.
But the idea is that everything was just peace and love and peaceful, non-violent resistance is absurd. There were a lot of, safe houses. There are a lot of folks who provided the protection, and many would say that MLK could look at, authorities and go, you either deal with me or you deal with
the
Malcolm.
nation. You can deal with the nation, and the nation did not muck around. The Nation of Islam, even today, sorry, I know we're going to get to the clip, but funnily enough, when they were making the movie about Malcolm X with Denzel Washington, the reason there was not in that movie a sex scene between Malcolm X when he was Malcolm Little in his earlier days is because the Nation of Islam went and told Spike Lee, if you have Malcolm X butt naked sleeping with a lady in this movie, we are going to shut down every premiere. We're going to there's going to be violence at the movie theaters if you do this.
Right.
So they had sway then, and they still to some degree have it now. I mean, look who provided security during the O.J. Simpson trial. It was the nation.
And so you can be a liberal, I guess, and say, no, the welfare programs are a good thing and all that. Byron Donald's point is that even under the persecution and oppression of Jim Crow, there were some good things happening with the black family. And the beautiful thing is now, here in 2024, you're starting to see more and more, especially younger black men is the emphasis they're putting, but all black people. And you're also seeing it, again, with all people, more of a traditionalist move back, to start a family. One of the more radical things you could do, you're doing it, Craig.
Yay.
Is marry someone, start a family, stay together, build a life, build generational wealth. And yet, Hakeem Jeffries goes to the floor, and from all this, that's what's underlying his comments, Byron Donalds, like all this sort of arguments and history and sociology, whatever you want to call it. And Hakeem Jeffries goes to the Congress floor and says, well, he just praised Jim Crow.
Yeah.
So you just heard the full clip of him. I give credit to Joy Reid and her producers for playing the full context, but here's the engagement.
I am joined now by Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, thank you for being here. We played that lengthy segment. That is what you posted on your social media. The part of what you said that people take issue with is this line, which I'm going to read back to you again. You see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative. Black people have always been conservative-minded, but black people voted conservatively. But it is that during Jim Crow, the black family was together. That's what people have taken issue with. What are they missing?
Frankly, what's really happened is that you have, Democrats and you have the Biden campaign, and some of the media want to twist my words for political purposes. The overarching issue is talking just about black families and why you're seeing a trend of black people leaning towards Republicans in this election cycle and probably in election cycles to come. And part of that, is that when you're raising families, raising kids, et cetera, you're now thinking about all of the public policy issues, all of the economic issues, all of the education issues. And that's leading people to have divergence in political thoughts. That was the only point. The stuff that comes up about Jim Crow and twisting my words, saying I was being nostalgic or saying that Jim Crow was good for black people, that's all political spin. It's a lie. It's gaslighting. And that's truly unfortunate.
So here's the challenge, Congressman. You started out talking about your family, talking about your mom, talking about being raised, and you on your own brought up Jim Crow. In fact, you said Jim Crow 3 times for emphasis. It wasn't the media or the Democrats or gaslighters who brought up Jim Crow. It was you. You brought up Jim Crow. So why did you use Jim Crow specifically as your reference? You did that. No one else did that. You did it.
Oh, I did. We were having a conversation, just talking as, black people in Philadelphia. But if you're going to use the chronological timeline of America before the Great Society and Lyndon Johnson's time period, you had, unfortunately, the Jim Crow era in America. During that time period, the marriage rates of black Americans was significantly higher than any other time since then in American history. So it is a divergence if you're talking about marriage rates in the black community. They have plummeted. And what we've seen recently in America, which is a very good thing we should all celebrate, is that the marriage rates in the black community are rising again. That's good for black families. That's definitely good for black children. It's something I want to see. I'm quite sure you want to see it as well.
Okay, let's talk about that. Jim Crow lasted roughly from 1867 after the Civil War to 1968. Is there a specific period between 1867 and 1968 that you thought was this golden era for black families, or a time that was good for black families?
Oh, what a loaded question. This golden era.
I don't remember him saying golden era.
Did I don't think he did. But keep going, Byron.
Joy, I never said that. And see, this is where the gaslighting comes in.
I'm going to read what you said.
All I was talking about was the marriage rates.
Stop. No,
Joy,
that's not what you said. Let's play what you said.
Play
what he said.
Play what he said. Families. You're saying I said it was the golden era. I never said that.
I'm going to play what you said.
I said that it was better for black families. I never said that.
Play what he said.
Play what I said.
Play what he said.
During Jim Crow, the black family was together. That's right. During Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And then H.E.W., Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
Yeah, I didn't hear golden era.
So now I'm going to go back. You said during Jim Crow, the black family was together. What was the authority of the black father in the black family during Jim Crow?
Well, listen, under Jim Crow, obviously, Black people were under great persecution, unfortunately, by Southern Democrats and the Democrat Party overall in the history of our country. That's the fact. And so, well, let me finish now, Joy. And so having the Black man in the home was about first protecting the mom and protecting the kids. Incredibly important. It was the leadership in the home, which is incredibly valuable. And I think what we're witnessing, obviously, the last 30 years, definitely through my generation, is Black fathers being at home is incredibly important for the success of Black children going forward. And it's not just a Black thing, that's everybody. Fathers in home help to breed success for kids moving forward. That is a great thing for our country. That's something that has been proven throughout time. So what I'm talking about is not the golden era of Jim Crow. That's ridiculous. I would never say that. And that is the gaslighting that I'm standing up to, because that's what Hakeem Jeffries, the Biden campaign, Jamie Harrison, and the like are trying to bring up. And unfortunately, the media has followed suit with misleading headlines, and that's wrong.
Now I'm going to talk.
Now she's going to talk, but notice the question she has. Like, what was the authority of the father under Jim Crow?
Well, she was trying to go somewhere. She thinks she's this sly, I'm gonna try to manipulate him into this conversation, but she doesn't realize that, ordinary people aren't as stupid as her, and they don't miss things. I maybe actually a good amount of them are.
Well, and also the idea that if you're especially a marginalized minority group in an oppressed situation, it means the father doesn't have authority
in the home
and a role in the home.
That it was confusing.
But this is where she was going with it.
Okay.
Do I have a chance? Good. Now, you talked about the Black father being in the family and being able to protect the family. First, I want to read just for our audience the definition of Jim Crow, just so we all know what we're talking about. Jim Crow laws were a collection of state and local statutes that legalized racial segregation. They existed essentially from the post-Civil War era. They were meant to marginalize African Americans by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, get an education, and other opportunities. Those who attempted to defy Jim Crow laws often faced arrest, fines, jail sentences, violence, and death. Now I want to talk about something that happened during this era. You said that what you were talking about was the presence of the Black father in the home to protect his wife and family. In 1943, in the state that you represent, in Florida, a young man named Willie James Howard, who was 15 years old, was lynched. Yeah. During Christmas of 1943, Willie Howard sent cards to all of his coworkers at the Van Priest dime store in Live Oak, Florida. Unlike the other cards, Willie's card to Cynthia Goff, a white store employee, revealed a youthful crush. His greeting expressed hope that white people would someday like Black people and concluded, "I love your name, I love your voice. For SH, sweetheart, you are my choice." After reading the card, Cynthia's father, Phil Goff, brought two friends to the Howard home and demanded to see Willie. Despite his mother's pleading, the men dragged Willie away and then kidnapped Willie's father, James Howard, from work. The men drove the two Howards, to the embankment of the Suwannee River, bound Willie's hands and feet, stood him at the edge of the water, and told him to either jump or be shot. Willie jumped into the cold water below and drowned while his father was forced to watch at gunpoint. Willie's dead body was pulled from the river the next day. You said that during the Jim Crow era, the importance of having a Black man in the home was to protect his family and to protect his wife. Wow. I actually spoke with somebody who lived through Jim Crow. Wow. Her name is Merle Evers Williams. And Merle quoted to me a man named Charles Silverman, who wrote in Crisis in Black and White, that in 1890, the year that the Mississippi Constitution was written, the policy of crushing out the manhood of the Negro citizens was to be carried out with success. So the man in the home during Jim Crow had no rights, could not protect his wife from rape, could not protect his son from lynching. So again, why would you quote that era and say that at that time, the family all being in the home together was something we should think of as a good thing?
Well, first of all, Joy, the story you bring up and you're bringing up is a tragedy, one of the great tragedies of the Jim Crow era.
I'm asking
this is
why
those policies
that era.
Let him finish.
We're disgusting and distasteful. All I
So
was
that
talking
era,
about, Joy,
what was the
marriage
benefit of a
rate
man in the
black.
family? Again, sir, I'm sorry,
Joy,
I let
am
you
I allowed
talk
to
for a long
talk, or are
time.
you gonna
Sorry,
talk over
I
me?
only,
I'm
no,
just,
talk over you. You've gotten a
I'm
chance to
trying
speak
to
a lot,
respond to
Congressman.
what you
You're
brought
going to
up,
answer
Joy, and
my
now you won't
question
let
now
me
and
do
not
that.
filibuster.
That's
This is
what
the
I'm
question
trying
you
to
want.
answer, Joy, but
This
now
is
you're
the
cutting me
question you
off.
need to answer.
That's what I'm
If
trying to
black
answer.
men,
That's what
hold
I'm
on.
trying to answer, Joy.
Give me a
Are you going
second.
to let
Take
me
a
do
breath.
that? Are
Take
you going to
a
let me do
breath.
it? I would love
If
to
a
do it.
black man
I
could
would ask
not
you to do the same.
protect, it's my show. If a black man, a black
I
father,
don't
could
understand.
not protect his wife, his son, or himself from lynching and violence, how is him being in the home mean that that is an era that was better for the black family, or that we should think of as a good thing?
First of all, Joy, I never said that it was better for black people in Jim Crow. I have never said that, and even my own words say that. If you're talking about the importance of black fathers in the home, or frankly, all fathers in the home, it is always for the betterment of children to have leadership, yes, for safety. So having two people in the home to help provide the economic needs for those children so the family can succeed. That is a wonderful thing. We should always get back to that, not to Jim Crow. And this is the point of the gaslighting and the lying that is occurring with what I said. Don't try to impose the fact that the marriage rates were better in the higher, I want to be clear, higher in the Jim Crow era to mean that I think Jim Crow is great. That is a lie. That is gaslighting. I would never say such a thing, which is why the Jim Crow era was destructive of black people.
You brought it up.
Yeah.
I mean this seriously.
See, he's going through everything I did this morning.
I mean this sincerely. I hope she gets a flesh-eating bacteria the next time she goes to like a public pool. People like this, people like Joy Reid, the level of dishonesty and first of all, I don't know why he just shut the laptop. Like, you're on the laptop, just shut it. Like, first of all, I don't know why you would go on the show anyway.
Right.
She is counting on the stupidity of her audience.
Yes.
She is betting that her audience is so stupid and lacks critical thinking so much that they would be persuaded by her nonsense rambling and twisting that is so transparent and so sophistic. She is a bad person.
Yeah. No, doing something like that,
you're a bad person, and you deserve for bad things to happen.
Well, and she shared one of the most, like I said before we played it, it's awful. It's a tough story to hear, and my only question is, history's complicated. I'd imagine there are stories, especially when you're talking about how did Jim Crow end, but even back in the 1800s, are there ever instances of people standing up for themselves?
Of course there are.
Of course.
But what is mutually exclusive about this horrible thing happening? Are you saying, Joy, that it would have been better if the black father was not in the household during the era of Jim Crow, despite the persecution? You dumb, stupid broad. You moron. Is that what you're saying? Like, so where's the contradiction here? Horrible things happened during Jim Crow. Yes, Jim Crow was horrible. Yes, it was better that black fathers were in the home during that time. How dare you, sir?
Right.
It's just dishonest. And this, again, I'm with you. This is why I don't watch cable news, because I watch it and I want to put my fist through the television.
And it's because it's essentially like because of the moral abomination that was Jim Crow, any of the liberal programs that got rid of that, of course, there's no downside to the liberal programs.
No, never.
There's never been any downside. We're now, over 60 years from that time period. And no, we can't talk about all the ill effects of other things.
This is what I hate, though,
it's just absurd.
This is what I hate about Republicans, just in general. In cases like this, the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
Ask that question. So, Joy, are you saying that it was better? It would have been better during Jim Crow if the father in a black family wasn't in the home? Is that what you're saying? Because you seem to be implying a contradiction here.
What's interesting is if you go back to the clip that they played of Donald speaking in Philadelphia, there's a lot of agreement in that room.
Yeah, because it's an uncontroversial
it's
statement.
It's a basic fact of history. Yeah, but I'm playing it because, we're here in Montgomery.
Yeah.
And I thought it was apropos given the conversation and our own history. But it's amazing that this is the sort of tactic being used right now against a young man, a very successful young man who started the conversation about, I forgave my father. I want to be a good father to my son, to my children. And I am overjoyed that there are more folks choosing that lifestyle. So I hope through all the noise, people are actually getting the message. And you know what? Given all the screaming and all the hysterics coming from, say, high-end Democrats at this point, I think people are waking up to their stupidity and their bad. Just evil's a word I want to use.
It is.
To twist things this way.
It
But,
is-
you know,
it is.
it's also, it's political season. Everybody starts acting a little dumb and evil.
No, it is evil to lie blatantly and say that someone said something that they did not say, to slander someone publicly like that. That is evil.
Well, we got to hit a break, but first, some Master Thespian called before we even did this segment, so I'm wondering, he held on. Master Thespian, what's up?
Well, I enjoyed listening to the discussion. It was great. The reason I called in, and I also want to comment about Joy Reid, but the reason I called in is that the word you're looking for is Shai Hulud.
Thank you, Shai
That's the
Hulud.
name of the sandworm. And I loved both of those movies. They're incredible. Now, what's going on with Joy Reid is inductive reason. Just because you have one or two or three instances of a thing does not mean that's indicative of the whole. That's a classical rhetorical argument. And that's one of the things the Democrats love to throw down. Hey, we got this instance. This happened over here. Oh, we got this over here. This happened over here. That means that all things are bad. You know, it's like the problem with the health care. They were trying to, instead of just fixing that one little problem, they wanted to overhaul the whole thing. So anyway, you find some classical rhetorical fallacies that the people on the left use, and sometimes people on the right use. The idea of begging the question. Well, everybody knows. Okay, begging the question is one. The post hoc ergo propter hoc. If one thing happens, that doesn't necessarily mean it causes something else.
Right.
Like Auburn didn't win just because I wore my lucky Auburn socks, you know. But people are, I agree with Craig, that people are ignorant. They don't know that they're being hoodwinked. They don't understand those rhetorical arguments. They just go, And
there's a lot of stupid people who vote for both sides of the political aisle. But I tend to think there are more and more folks waking up to this crap, and it's a beautiful thing to see cable news dying. And like I said to begin this, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself, but I had to share the misery, because actually I think it is to Byron Donald's credit that he went into that dishonest place and stood up for himself.
Yeah, trying to explain himself. But I think people have gotten tired of people with agendas. Joy Reid obviously has an agenda. She obviously has a track she's trying to push. She's not looking for the truth. She's looking to spin it in the way that she wants it to go. And she's probably got people in her ear telling her to. So, anyway.
Well, appreciate it, Master Thespian.
Good job, gentlemen. Keep it up.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
Do have to hit a quick break here. But first, this part of the program brought to you by our brand new sponsor, All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. They're located in Tallahassee, Alabama, but they're serving all of the river region and the surrounding areas. And so let them be your one-stop shop for all HVAC and electrical needs. You can always go to their website, allproheatingair.com. All Pro Heating Air, all one word, allproheatingair.com to learn more.
Or you can check them out on Facebook. They've got a great Facebook page.
They really do. They show their latest installs they've done. And so whether you're looking for, say, a new Generac generator,
right?
Fantastic top-of-the-line product. And with all these storms rolling through,
That's
you want to keep power going.
It's a really good idea. But also, Joey, like you said, if you got any electrical repairs that need done, or we were talking yesterday about a split unit. I've got a friend of mine that's got a garage that kind of gets hot in his garage. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to get a split unit put in there. And for the money, it's a lot cheaper than, putting in central air or even putting new ductwork in. And it's pretty simple. It'll be done in less than a day.
Yeah, so again, any of your heating, air, or electrical service needs, All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical, they're new, but they're great, is ready to help you. That's All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. You can, again, go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-196 1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell them that, well, Joey and Eddie and Craig, those guys on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A-plus better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-632-4055 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-632-4055. That's 800-632-4055. What do you have to lose? Call 800-632-4055. Again, 800-632-4055.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. I think you're going to like this forecast because it's better weather news for at least a couple of days with less humidity today, sunshine, high temperature up to about 90. Clear skies, pleasantly cool tonight. Overnight low 63. Tomorrow more sun. We'll take the humidity down another notch, so fairly tolerable. The high in the upper 80s to around 90 on Saturday. Back to the standard forecast. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, widely scattered, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We're redesigning financial freedom at CB&S Bank. Make purchases at participating stores and restaurants using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile devices with Mobile Wallet. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for more information. Member FDIC.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Oh, Patriot Czar's back. Welcome back, sir, onto the stream. He's saying, what's up with the rags on y'all's head? I don't know what he's talking about. Like, what? Y'all know what he's talking about?
Not a clue.
I feel like if we were of Arabic descent, that would be a very offensive thing.
Yeah, but we're very white in here.
Very white. We are from the Isles
I
of
do
Caucasus.
wonder.
Yes, we are.
Rice-skinned.
Yeah. He's a rice-skinned.
Don't be throwing Cat Williams lines
That
at
baby's
me.
got a credit score of 730 right now.
Right now.
Light-skinned.
Oh goodness. Let's. I don't know what patrons are you're talking about. I'm
drawing a blank.
Let's go to Family John. Hey, Family John, how are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing? I want to comment on that about that young man that got drowned.
Yes, sir.
He wrote the letter. Yeah. He learned that from his father from being in the house. He saw how his father treated his mother. So that's how come he wrote that letter. That's from being a man in the house. So she missed that part. You understand?
Yeah.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the influence of a man being in the house. He saw how he,
And he's trying to treat her well.
Treat a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a double-edged sword there, so I was confused as to which way you were going. But yeah, I mean, it was obviously a horrific thing. It was just a tame little. I think it was a poem. I can't. It looked like it rhymed.
Well, it sounded like a kid, teenage kid.
Yeah, it was a perfectly fine thing to write to a young lady, and obviously, drowning the poor boy for that was morally disgusting and should be vilified by everyone. Like nobody's debating that.
Right. That's the part I don't get.
But he never would have wrote that letter if he had. He saw how his father treated his mother, so he had a positive for his father being at home.
Yeah, but see, that's the double-edged sword that I was talking about, because it sounded like at first, Family John, it sounded at first like you were saying, like if his dad wasn't in the home, then he wouldn't have written the letter, and then he wouldn't have gotten drowned. No. So I was making sure. No. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a really good point.
That's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. Because if his father wasn't in the home, he probably would have been a bitter person doing wrong things. But he sounded like he was a fine young man.
He was.
Yeah.
And and there are a lot of also. I appreciate the call, Family John. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And I get so frustrated. Like, why are you just telling a story of somebody who is murdered?
Yeah.
Like, and then project that onto the fact of you had more family formation, more fathers in the home, even in that era of persecution. Because there are many stories, especially, again, how did the Jim Crow South end? How did the civil rights movement succeed? It, again, wasn't just peaceful nonviolence and, flowers in their hair. It was, a lot of folks who used their rights to defend themselves. And there are many of examples of it throughout American history.
Yeah, white and black. The abolitionist movement, especially in the South, had the potential to be very brutal.
Yeah.
Like there was Cassius Clay was a great example of that. He was an abolitionist writer. Funnily enough, he was also who Muhammad Ali was named after.
Right.
And he changed his name to Muhammad after he joined the Nation of Islam. And Muhammad himself owned many, many black slaves, if you read the Hadith. So it's kind of ironic that in order to get rid of his slave name, he took it away from a abolitionist and changed it to the name of a person who owned many, many black slaves. It's ironic, but Cassius Clay, he cut a guy's eyes out at a debate. A guy shot him at a debate about slavery. A guy shot him. He lived, got up, and cut his eyes out with a Bowie knife that he made. Woo. Cassius Clay he owned a newspaper, and people kept threatening to burn it down. So he bought a couple cans and aimed them at the door and said, "Come on in."
You're right.
Nice.
Cassius Clay was a gangster.
All right. Let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up? How you doing this Friday?
Oh, I was sitting there listening to you guys go on and on and on and on, which is good. Can I start? This guy, what's his name?
Byron Donald.
Yeah. I sat there listening to him the other night and listened to him today and listened to the Joe Reed and him. If he wants somebody to agree with him and suck his toes and all that, he need to go to Fox News, okay? He went on Joe's show, and Joe asked him some questions that I thought was fair. Now, what was wrong with the question?
She loaded the question saying that he called Jim Crow a golden era.
Which never did use that.
Well, I heard him. To me, the young man, or what y'all call it nowadays, misspoke, or he shouldn't have said it. He should have used something different, like...
No, everything he said was 100% true. And he shouldn't have changed the word of it.
He couldn't have used that. He couldn't have said that. We use that in that context anyway. Okay? And see, I got a few miles on me. I'm, past 60, so I can talk about it. But I ain't gonna talk about it.
You
in
passed 60
detail,
during the
but,
Bush administration. Let's be honest.
So what now?
Nothing. Never mind. Continue.
Craig's just in a foul mood. He ate the wrong peanut butter. We'll get to it later.
I heard him a clown George, but George put the old boy on the spot because if you're gonna come on there and be bold and speak about the power black men had back then, hell, we didn't have no power. Hell, we barely got power now a little bit. But
you just had a black president. How do you keep saying you have no power? The president of the United States in the past 10 years was a black man. 2 terms, if I remember correctly.
As well as the attorney general and all sorts of other positions of power.
That argument's just getting old.
I just threw it in there just to see where you listen. That's all.
Well, no, Duke, what frustrates so many folks out there is that you are powerless as a black person unless you join in hand with the progressive movement and the Democratic Party. That's the system they set up.
Right.
These damn cult members and all the ones are weak around here, what I'm saying. But let's get back at the subject matter at hand right here. This young man should have talked about what's going on in the real world. Okay, you got Section 8 out here. Okay, let's talk about Section 8. You ain't talk about Section 8. And you talk about these so-called independent women don't want no man to start with. Okay? You talk about all these women out here.
Then why do people keep knocking them up?
Because they out here selling it. They out here selling it.
If you got a woman that doesn't want a man, you don't knock her up. Those are the rules.
Yeah, but Craig, it's undefeated.
Condom break, and birth control.
Not that many condoms break, man. Come on.
Come on.
So, back to the subject matter.
I looked at the same packet of condoms at a gas station in the hood for 2 years. untouched. Nobody touched it. There's no breaking condoms.
What size were they?
Magnums. I know. I was paying attention.
That's legit.
I was paying attention.
Well, y'all trying to throw me off a little bit. Let me get back.
Undefeated, Duke. It's undefeated. It's undefeated.
But the thing is, see, you got your government ran by white folks that's telling men that you can't live with the woman. You can get her pregnant and she have a baby for you, but your ass can't live with her because she gets a check every month.
Yep, okay? You're right about that.
You're right.
That's the point Byron Donalds was making.
And they want to do all the men things nowadays, and vice versa, So, hell, who in the hell can force somebody to marry somebody?
That's not force. You can't force someone to marry somebody, but that's my point. Don't knock someone up if you're not going to marry them.
And find the right woman to marry.
Hold on a minute. So you marry every girl you had sex with, sir?
Do what now?
You married everybody you had sex with?
I've only had babies with one woman, and she's my wife, and she's sitting at home right now with my 2 babies, and I take care of those babies, and I pay for all their crap. I don't have 5 babies by 5 women.
What did your son do to your TV?
He smashed it, but that's beside the point. That's beside the point.
No, sir. What I'm saying, though, sir, if this woman ended up pregnant, however she got pregnant, the government said nowadays that you gotta have it. So after the baby get here, you got to take care of it. But you can't make a man marry that
that's
woman.
called taking responsibility.
You can't make a man marry that woman.
Yeah, but that's the point that he's making is that you have a systemic issue of unwed mothers.
All they have in common is in the bed. They don't have no damn connection, no other way, but no in the sack.
Yeah, but that's the point he's making, though, is that you have a systemic issue of unwed mothers and bastard children, and it's had a negative effect on a community. That is an uncontroversial statement.
Take the women need to take the pills, and the man need to use whatever hell he use.
But they don't, Duke. But they don't.
But what I'm saying now, I know that, but we back to you can't force a man to marry a woman just because you had sex with her.
Unfortunately.
No, we're just all going to hell, right? People can't take responsibility for their lives or change their ways. So let's just have the real responsible people who lie and cheat, manipulate, and steal, which you agree with me on, Duke. They'll be the ones that make everybody else responsible by taking responsibility away from them. It'll work.
Wasn't Trump just on trial for something like this y'all talking about? What we talking about? Same thing. Hey, did he marry that woman? Hell no, he paid a damn bunch of money.
Can you
Didn't have no babies with her, though.
Can you listen to an ounce of criticism without bringing up Donald Trump? Screw Donald Trump. Okay, how about this? Screw Donald Trump. Now go.
I'm using for an example right now because y'all talking about people need to marry a woman to sleep with.
And what does Donald Trump's immoral actions have to do with any of that?
The homeboy just said that everybody should be perfect and marry a woman. You shouldn't have sex with her. Let you.
See, that's a moral standard Craig would stand by.
Yes.
But what does Donald Trump have to do with that? Trump on that, as far as that standard goes, Trump has failed many a time.
He's just he's a reference right now. So he's kind of fresh.
Hey, Duke, real quick.
We're
I
out of time.
have a question. Are you saying that it's not a bad thing to have a lot of bastard children running around without a father or mother in the home? Are you saying that's a good thing?
That's not what I'm saying, sir.
So then what are you saying?
In today's society right now,
Mm-hmm.
the women got, they want all these rights nowadays, so they don't want to marry you.
Okay.
They want a baby. They want to have a baby by you. And
Then you don't
got
get my
all
magic
these
willy.
dollars.
Those are the rules.
Say what now?
Then you don't get my magic willy. Those are the rules. Yeah. So how about I'm putting the responsibility on the man here, Duke. Don't knock a woman up if there's not a ring on her finger, and your society and your community will do better. That is a statistical and mathematical certainty.
In my community, what do you mean my community?
Black folk.
I live amongst white folks.
Okay. I wasn't talking about you. You're 60. You're not knocking anybody up anytime soon.
Well, watch out. He might have a magic willy too. I gotta run, Duke.
Let me do that.
See you, Duke.
See you, Duke.
What now?
I gotta run. Now I'm starting to think of that heart song, Magic Man.
Did you buy some beans or something? I mean, how did you the magic thing? How did?
Well,
is that something available to all?
Sometimes, I'm 6'3", for instance.
Right.
Sometimes genetics just smile upon you.
I'm 6'1", so not all the time. Craig.
Yeah, I'm 5'10" on average. But life's still good.
Except when you get braggers in the room.
It's undefeated, folks. I think that's what we learned. And everybody love everybody. It'll be fine.
I love Duke. I seriously, I love it.
And he's such a crapster, though. That call
What he
was
does,
such
baby.
crapster, and there was no coherence. It was just contrary.
Yeah, but it's fun because
It is.
I can't, if I'm screaming. Joy Reid is also incoherent, but she can't hear me when I scream.
Right. Yeah. Here, Penny's been so patient. Let's talk to Penny. Hey, Penny.
Hey, Penny, your thoughts.
Yes, a penny for my thoughts. Okay, I will run my mouth, but I will make some points
Okay.
that are clear for everyone to understand. And I totally agree about covering your magic willy. But what he did not understand is that so a woman doesn't want to marry a man. She just wants to have him for his sperm donation so she can get a check and work the system. Well, then you keep your magic willy either covered or go get it neutered so that you can't get a baby from your magic willy. And that's what he doesn't get.
You ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, it's actually nice to see. I like eye candy, just like men like eye candy. I'm not dead and I'm not dumb.
I see.
So, I'm made just like you. I like eye candy. Don't you like pretty things to look at? Sure we do.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not
Like the
I'm
new
not
Miss
dead.
Alabama. Man, she's a looker.
I haven't seen her, but I'm
you
going
can see her
based
from a
off
mile
your word.
away.
Yeah, her and the Great Wall are the only things visible from
Right.
space.
It's like Purple Mountain
Really?
Majesty over there.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Other nice
400.
climbing high and sitting high. Okay.
Or it's like my
So-
600-pound life just
Yeah.
won Miss USA.
That's what it's like.
Can make
Okay, now,
palm frites in her sweat.
Oh my goodness. Hormones are going in that room today. Oh my Lord. But I like it. It's Happy Friday.
That's
okay,
right.
So my point was earlier, keep the willy covered like you said.
Okay.
And
That wasn't
don't
me. I
let a
said
woman stand-
save the willy for the lady you have put a ring on. He
There
was
you
talking
go.
about covering the willy. I just said that nobody's doing it, so it's a stupid recommendation.
correct.
Nobody does it.
That's
That's
they
a serious story, by the way. I looked at the same package of condoms at a gas station. I used to live in the hood or live close to the hood, and I stopped at this gas
Hood
station,
adjacent.
and I watched the same little box of condoms back there go nowhere for 2 years. Nobody's using them.
believe
It's a
it.
stupid recommendation.
Yeah. Well, they've always put it on the women to take birth control, but
Yep.
the men can have a vasectomy and the men can use a condom. They just choose not to have any responsibility in the game.
Correct.
And I love my nights of pleasure too, but both sides need to be 50-50 responsible.
And plus, the birth
for
control pill is
what
a
they
moral
produce.
abomination that screws with women's emotions and their
Yeah,
physiology more than anyone
and I
else.
really am running out of time here, but I have to thank you, Penny, because I just learned a new term, Nights of Pleasure. That's a good
Caught
way
your
to
attention
refer
too,
to
did
it.
it?
Yeah, it did.
I ignored it. I blocked it out
It's
like
been a while.
childhood diddling.
Been a while.
I've
been following Craig's advice.
You know what the things about nights of pleasure are?
Please,
we're
no.
paying it for everybody else's, but my night of pleasure doesn't have to end up on welfare and be a child for the next 18 years. My nights of pleasure could be that I want you to fly me to Paris, have dinner, and fly me back. That's a night of pleasure to me. Everyone's night of pleasure doesn't have to be the same definition, remember?
Sure. My
How
night of
Lincoln
pleasure
came
is
up with
handed
a
to
new
me by an
definition?
obese woman through a McDonald's window.
That's right. Well, I think we owe it to Clinton. He's the one that came up with new definitions. You can just pull them out of your hat and make a new definition whenever you want to.
Old B.J. Clinton.
Yep.
Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Oral sex is not intercourse, according, right?
It's not the same price.
Yeah.
It's certain. You got that right. So I have to make a comment about who is the moron female who had the interview with this Brian?
It was Byron Donald's on with Joy Reid.
Joy Reid.
Who I fell for her outrage bait today, yes.
She is so
She's awful.
stupid. Her ego was in her way because she so wanted to be, oh, this is my show.
My
and
show.
she was so pissed that she could not shove her thoughts and her words down his throat. That's what she was pissed about because they like to pander to the minority vote, and it ain't working now. Oh, my. People are starting to get the ticket. And you know what? It's actually funny how the open borders is backfiring on their butt because now the minorities see that they're going to drop the money they give to them and they're going to give it to the illegals because they're easier to control and get the vote. And I just love it. It's backfiring right in their face. I just love it. And, the other thing, too, about, I don't know, so everybody hates Donald Trump. I get it. You don't have to sleep with the man. I don't have to have sex with him. I'm not married to him. I don't live in the same house. But I will tell you this. He's got way more intelligence when it comes to law and making the economy work than lifelong politicians have a clue.
Oh, yeah, and he had a great sit-down interview with Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
And the
real
real
Dr.
one.
Phil.
The real
Yeah.
Dr. Phil. Yeah, and we're...
I miss that.
Well, we'll get some clips out here and
Excellent.
some of Dr. Phil's audience reaction. I appreciate you being patient. I appreciate the call, Penny.
Thank you, Penny.
Happy Friday, guys.
Hey, happy Friday, hon.
Bye.
Gotta hit this break. Way behind.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. America's employers adding a strong 272,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate edged up for a second straight month to a still low 4% from 3.9%, ending a 27-month streak of unemployment below 4%. That streak had matched the longest such run since the late 1960s. The first wave of the year is expected to maintain its grip on the Southwest United States for at least another day as record-setting temperatures continue to soar past 110 degrees Fahrenheit from Southeast California to Arizona. New record highs Thursday included 113 in Phoenix and 122 in Death Valley National Park. The Dow had 91 points and the NASDAQ adding 31 points. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. I think you're going to like this forecast because it's better weather news for at least a couple of days with less humidity today, sunshine, high temperature up to about 90, clear skies, pleasantly cool tonight, overnight low 63. Tomorrow, more sun. We'll take the humidity down another notch, so fairly tolerable. The high in the upper 80s to around 90 on Saturday. Back to the standard forecast Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, widely scattered, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A man is in custody in connection to a series of business burglaries in Midtown Montgomery. 19-year-old Trey Christian Sankey was arrested in the area of Country Club Shopping Center at 1:47 a.m. Thursday morning and charged with 4 counts of burglary and 1 count of theft of property. Sankey was out on bond for a previous burglary charge. Sheriff Mark Harrell is evacuating the Autauga County Metro Jail due to health and safety concerns. Harrell stated it will be up to the county commission to properly and adequately fix the issues to prevent more health and safety issues before I, as the sheriff of Autauga County, will place another individual in the jail. A man has been arrested in the robbery of a Montgomery gas station last month. Surveillance cameras implicate 22-year-old Frank Crenshaw pulled a silver handgun and robbed the McGee Road Z-Mart gas station at 3:26 a.m. on May 30th. Court records indicate Crenshaw made off with $2,000 from the business. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Looking for a delicious and creative way to cater your next party, event, or office lunch? Let Bates House of Turkey in Montgomery take the worry out of it for you. Sandwich trays, turkey casserole, hickory smoked or roasted turkey with your favorite classic sides. So many options, all homemade and delicious, just the way you expect. Visit Bates House of Turkey in Montgomery at the corner of Carter Hill and Vaughn Roads or call 334-215-7775. Eat turkey. Feel perky.
Jay Krakowski and Randy Jackson are back to turn your musical guesses into gold.
100,000.
Fox Monday. It's the new season of. Then
I'm Patton Oswalt, and it's time to play the 1% Club.
Don't miss a new kind of quiz show that tests how your brain stacks up against America.
Only 15% of the country got this right. None of them were my relative.
The 1% Club. Monday on Fox 20.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. You know, I want to get the other things, but I got to keep going with this theme. Did y'all see, you know, we played the clip yesterday that this week 50 Cent.
What did you call him?
50 Cent. I said it as white as possible.
You certainly did.
Mr. Curtis Jackson.
Yeah.
He's known to...
the mogul,
the mogul, yes, Mr. Curtis Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Get rich or
Wait,
die
you want me to really say it the other way?
No, it was just funny hearing it out of your mouth with clearly
How about you don't...
no accent at all.
How about you don't talk about my mouth? How about your mouth never mention my mouth?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. You got a pretty one.
What's he supposed to say, Fitty?
Watch out.
Fitty?
I hadn't used this magic willy in a while. You watch out talking to me that way. Oh, goodness gracious. But I met with a lot of Republicans, and when asked by reporters what's going on, he said, I think black men will identify with Trump. And so that brings me to liberal celebrity, a-hole. What a prick this woman is. I use that word in particular.
I see.
Chelsea Handler.
Oh, God.
On with Jimmy Fallon. Hey, guys, what's going on? Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor little
about
Jimmy.
a fifth of vodka into that,
I can't get mad at Jimmy Fallon because he strikes me as like, it's like getting mad at a golden retriever for crapping on the carpet. Like Jimmy Fallon just says, hey, how you doing? So listen in.
You heard about my ex-boyfriend, right? 50 Cent and his support of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
How
what's
he
going on
tweeted
between
about
you?
it.
I saw your tweets and I go, wait, what's happening? Because you said he was your favorite ex-boyfriend, and then what does he do? He's supporting Trump?
He says he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes, which, by the way, isn't a plan of Joe Biden's. That's a lie. So he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes because he doesn't want to go from being 50 cents to 20 cents. And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook.
Isn't that an older clip? I feel like maybe I don't know, but why are we caring about the opinion of a woman who has been ridden more than Seabiscuit?
Because it's these ideas of just find avatars.
Avatars?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Well done, Craig.
Yeah.
I like it when you eat the wrong peanut butter. Let's go to Eric the dog. Hey, Eric.
I like it when he gets riled up. That's hilarious. Hey, well, you know, that interview is a lot like somebody asking you if you still beat your mom. You know, there's no good answer to it, and it's clearly designed to get you to answer in a way that's unflattering, less than truthful, and shine things in a way that it gets what you want out of the conversation as opposed to having an open, honest dialogue. Which, why wouldn't you want a man in the house, irrespective of his color? A father in the house brings stability because there's some things mom's good at and there's some things dad's good at. And most of the things dads are good at keeps you out of jail. Moms too, but primarily, in my opinion, dad's the one that pretty much scares you from going down that road. And I mean, am I wrong?
No,
you're
right. It's almost like looking at someone and be like, hey, why aren't you not sexually attracted to children, or aren't you? It's like,
what's your problem?
What? It's like, how is that a dishonest question? Why aren't you not sexually attracted to children, or aren't you? It's a dishonest question that's confusing and
loaded.
Yeah, it's a loaded question filled with assumptions and question begging, as our master thespian said. It's just a dishonest way of communicating. You wouldn't accept this from your waiter, much less from a cable news anchor.
Well, I can't believe somebody hadn't just screamed in her face that, who are you, you white, stupid lady, to tell a black man how he can vote or you can't vote one way or the other?
Well, I mean, our president did that. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Right, which ended up being I thought a joke but it worked. But
yeah.
I mean, it was a huge insult. And finally, honestly, a lot of people of color have finally come back around and said, you know what? I think I'm a little bit insulted by that now that I think about it. And they should be.
Not enough.
Right, not enough.
Yeah, well, that lady, I don't know if that's an old clip or not, but if it's a newer clip, then maybe 50 isn't black, because
it's been making the rounds again. I'll put it that way.
Oh, okay.
It's trending. Like I said, these ideas just find avatars, and they fall in the mouths of all the people that are trying to say the right thing.
Kind of show you how how smart I am, but I don't get, man, look, I'm an idiot, and a lot of things I just need it broke down in simplest form possible, and then I can, I'm not that dumb, but I can figure out how to make it work from there. You know, some of that stuff y'all talk about, it is quite honestly over my head and the nuances, and I kind of blank out a little time,
hey
but-
man, I feel that way about a lot of stuff I watch and listen to as well. That even the smartest person on earth is going to be ignorant of 99% of things in this world. The world's too complicated. We ain't God.
We need some honest people. I would love to hear, what I mean by honest Democrat is they're not doing, conjoint. They're not being all trying to be super flexible to make a point so they can be on the right side of the point. This is your stance. Then be consistent and maintain that. And then when we get to disagreements, explain to me how Joe's doing a good job. Explain to me, why abortion's good. Explain to me why we should be sending hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to Ukraine. Explain to me how all this is good. Explain to me how he's not causing inflation. I get he's not responsible for everything, but he's in charge right now, and he could say something or do something to change it, mitigate it, start doing something, but he ain't, which I guess makes you complicit.
Well,
But
there you go.
Silence is violence, which I don't.
Right.
If I say something, if I notice something, and it has to do with a racial issue, I'm a racist. And if I don't notice it, then I'm contributing to the violence and the status quo.
Yeah, it's a Kafka trap. Like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And the only way to escape it is to agree with us and support us in power.
Break it.
What I think
Break it, Joey.
I think what we need to do is isolate that one clip where he just said "I'm a racist" and play it over and over again whenever he calls.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Why did you say I'm a racist, Eric?
Because I'm trying.
No. This is my show. This
Play
is
what
my
he
show.
said.
Play what he
Play
said.
what he said. And, well, Eric, and here's the good news. I'm going to help everybody down where the goats can get it. I have Dr. Phil coming up.
Real Dr.
Sweet.
Yes.
Oh,
real
the,
Dr. Phil.
man, I wanted the fake one, but
I
I
know,
guess
me
I'll take
too.
the real one. I'm just so used to fake news. I'm used to fake Phil now, so
Fake Phil is
he's gonna have to work on it.
Adam Ray's hit gold with that freaking impersonation. I appreciate it, Eric.
All right, y'all.
See you, dog.
See ya.
Yeah, here is real Dr. Phil interviewing Donald John Trump.
All right.
Everybody calls it inflation, but affordability. When we talk about gasoline under your administration, average $2.57 a gallon. Under Biden, $3.61, 40% more. Under your administration, homes average $320,000. Under the Biden administration, 31% more, $420,000. Under your administration, interest rates 3.8 average. Under the Biden administration, 39% more at 5.3%. Okay, now let's look at the border. Under you, average 1.7 million border crossings. Their official number is 6.4. That's from Homeland Security. It's actually about 13 million because I know I've been to the border. I've talked to the border guards down there, Brandon Judd. I've talked to Jason Jones. I've talked to the people that actually know the numbers. They say it's between 10 and 13 million. So my point is when you look at the actual numbers, plus the things you just talked about, lower taxes, higher tax revenue, you look at that and you would say, my God, he should be running unopposed. I mean, why?
And these numbers, I appreciate it, and these numbers are really, I don't know how many.
Very conservative.
As an example, I had gasoline down to $1.87, not $2.57. Right. It's now almost at $4. It's going to be at $5 very shortly. Right. It's going way up.
I took very conservative numbers so people couldn't argue.
Well, interest rates, I was at 2.6%. They have 3.8. And now they're at 9%, 10%, you can't get money. So, we did a great job.
And it wasn't just, facts and figures. It was also classic Donnie from Queens.
These are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head.
He's talking about Adam Schiff.
The thinnest neck I've ever seen, how it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. That's okay. Very unattractive guy. Here's the thing. He's a bad people. And
he really does have a round head, though, Adam Schiff.
He really did.
These are not stupid people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the thinnest neck I've ever seen, how it holds up that head. He's got a neck that's about a size 6. Very unattractive guy, both inside and outside. And people say, oh, that's such a terrible thing to say. That's okay. Very unattractive guy.
God bless that man.
So if you want to watch the whole Dr. Phil thing, it's out there. It's on Twitter X, and it's an interesting interview. I mean, Phil very much is throwing his support behind Trump, and Phil then did a follow-up with audience members the next day after everybody was able to see the interview, and that's been making the rounds on social media. Here is one of Dr. Phil's audience members, well, saying, here's my impression after watching the just her. I mean, there's all sorts of folks, and it's interesting where this guy's what? One of the most popular daytime? Like, not Oprah, of course, level,
Right,
but very big following.
Who put him on the map?
Oprah did, yeah.
Right. Who's Oprah's anti-person in the world is the Trumpster.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But here's another. Yeah,
it should.
It should bother everybody.
But just with the TikTok, remember, this is the same government that wants to get rid of TikTok, but there's a ton of government accounts on TikTok.
Oh, of course.
Little hypocrisy there?
Oh, you got to use
a
it
little bit
until you take over.
I can't stand this.
Yeah, well, you still on the talk?
Yeah.
How's it doing for your mental health?
Actually, pretty good. You know, strangely enough, I'll find news articles on TikTok and then be able to go find them in the news. And a lot of times they'll be buried. They're not in your mainstream stuff. So, pretty good. The downside to TikTok, and very serious downside, I watch a lot of videos of people with their grandparents, and their grandparents pass away.
Oh, goodness.
That is, and I'm not being facetious at all. I've watched so many of that where people just loving their grandparents, and they have an account together. I mean, it's something they do together. And then, unfortunately, one day you see the announcement. That does hurt.
Now, that brings me to the brand new Miss Alabama in the Miss USA pageant
large and in
series.
charge.
And her name is Sarah Milliken. She's 23 years old.
Million. Oh, sorry, Milliken.
Milliken, I think it's Milliken.
Oh, I thought
Calories a day.
Oh, yeah. How did you know that's exactly where I was going? Darn you. You ruined my punchline.
She said her goal was to make the top 10
of fattest people in the world.
You know, did she want to gain planetary status since Pluto was since been...
Does she have smaller people orbiting her?
No, she has tacos orbiting her.
She has, excuse me, inspirational words for young women after her win. No matter what your body looks like.
Nom, 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 nom. I'm sorry.
No matter where you come from, you can do anything you set your mind to.
Except touch your toes.
Sorry. Just making it to the top 10 was my goal, you know. I could leave the weekend saying I was better than I was the year before, and it's all about bettering yourself for me.
Buttering? Oh, bettering. Sorry.
Milliken will now move on to nationals to compete on Thanksgiving week.
The turkeys of the world are rejoicing. She'll be busy that week.
No, and for folks who don't know, I'll pull her up on the stream. This is
stovetop stuffing stocks have just plummeted.
This is the moment of her winning. I know the camera adds 10 pounds, but how many cameras are on her?
Sash barely fits around.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Good for her, but at the same time...
No, not good for her.
Well, hold on. It's ridiculous if I were to go to where Craig goes and works out and tell everybody, I'm in better shape than y'all. I'm taking off my shirt and forcing you to... Look, I'm in better shape than y'all.
It's not even that. Leaving aside the just the general weirdness of beauty pageants, that I find them to be distasteful.
Sure.
You are putting yourself up there to be, first of all, judged, but also celebrated. And the purpose of like the Miss America, Miss Alabama, whatever it is you are supposed to be something close to a role model. And I'm sorry. I'm actually not sorry. I make zero apologies. If you are that size, then you are an irresponsible person. You are a selfish person. And you are a person who is dedicating yourself, A, to a very, very short life, and B, you are committing yourself to being a comprehensive burden to everyone who loves you, because you will start to lose the ability to function normally while you are dying very, very, very slowly. That woman, that girl, she cannot operate and function in the world the way that a person in relatively decent shape or just an average person can.
And Eddie and I were talking about this off air, where you'll see like folks who market themselves as being fat, and they have TikTok accounts and all this stuff. Some are more like, I'm body positive, I'm fat girls. We need the scooters in the grocery store and at Disney World. Like, we eat whatever we want. Some of them are the more gross men that do the stuff. What you often see is those people, to your point, Greg, don't last very long.
Yeah, well,
and of course, people, given the American diet, and especially in Alabama, when I did see this, that she won, and she's got to be over 400.
Yeah.
When I saw her win, my only response was, and you can find it on Twitter, is just roll tide.
Roll Tide.
But
it's a roll tide moment.
It's also like with the influencers that are like, I'm fat. Nikocado Avocado is the easiest one to go to. He's this guy. He's the worst human being I can imagine.
What's his
he's
name?
like Nikocado Avocado. He does like these binge eating videos and everything. And he was actually very thin and trim, and he did it intentionally to get as fat as he possibly could. And his
Attention
health.
seeker much? I
Yeah.
guess?
Oh yeah. He's a total attention seeker. He's unbearable to watch, but he's the first one I think of. But at least that's not as good as that. That's not as bad as the influencers that I see that are like, I try to eat healthy and I try to do this and I try to do that and I still can't lose the weight. And the people who pretend like they have some sort of affliction by being, I'm sorry, you can be a little fluffy and that can be a genetic thing.
Sure.
You don't get 450 plus pounds like this lady is just by having a slow metabolism. I'm sorry, that's not what happens.
Right. Well, but all of this, I not only thought roll tide when I saw her win, I also thought of the old British show, Fat Families. Y'all remember this one?
I do not.
I think we need to bring this guy across the pond here to America to introduce Americans to his style. It was an intervention show where he would go across.
He'll be very busy here.
Go across Britain, and he would go visit fat families. And here are it's a montage, a supercut of a lot of his introductions going to visit fat families.
The fattest families I've met in my life. I'm here in the Peak District and about to meet two right massive fatty siblings who are at the peak of their porkiness. I'm going to be meeting some right beach blubber bellies. I'm in Luton, Bedfordshire, and about to meet three right jelly-bellied jumbos. I'm in London town, the nation's capital, home to Big Ben, Houses of Parliament, the London Eye, and four gigantic girls. These girls have got backstage passes to Porkyville. These fatties haven't seen their feet for years. I'm about to meet a family of Essex fatties. I'm about to meet a right pair of podgy parents. I used to be a fatty myself, but Mr. and Mrs. Massive Fatty. About to meet a colossal couple. That's if they can get off their backsides long enough to answer the door. These parents' kids are on a one-way road to Fatsville.
Yeah, and it keeps
It
going.
keeps going.
It keeps going. I think at one point he calls somebody Butter Mountain. Okay, this fella here. I'm amazed he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he ran away, I'm imagining. Yeah. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, hey, guys, it happens. Low testosterone is a pretty common thing now these days. And it's not just guys who are maturing. Of course, this naturally happens as you get in your 50s, 60s, you get older. And you don't produce as much testosterone. And a lot of guys want to keep that edge they had in their 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Right.
But there are even a lot of guys in their 20s and 30s that are now seeing signs of low testosterone. And so what are those signs? Well, you're lacking energy, lacking motivation, feel like you're just walking through your life in a fog, like a mental fog. And of course, you're also seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, and maybe you didn't change your dieting. Maybe you're still going to the gym, but you're seeing this unwanted weight gain and loss of muscle mass. Also a decrease in sex drive. Knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments if that is your problem that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, you usually even notice an increased libido.
Nothing wrong with that.
And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry news talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Honey, did you call an electrician to put in that new bathroom outlet?
No, I thought I'd just get Cousin Ray.
He's not a real electrician.
Oh, Ray's handy. He can do anything.
Being handy and being an electrician are two different things. Electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. Each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. You need an expert. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, drug testing, continuing education, and rigorous safety training. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric.
So, how about that nice outlet Ray installed in the bathroom?
Do you think it's safe?
It's fine. See, when I plug in my electric razor, it...
Now the lights are out. I am not sleeping a wink until you get Crosby Electric out here.
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Selling a home in the river region in this market takes some planning and preparation to be successful. Here are some steps to take to get your home sold fast. Remember the 5 P's. Prepare the home, fresh coat of paint inside and out, and complete any repairs needed. Professionally clean the home. A deep cleaning of floors, cabinets, windows, and blinds will leave a great impression for future buyers. Provide a home warranty for the buyer to give the buyer peace of mind after the closing. Provide a closing cost allowance for the buyer to help them be able to afford your home. Price your home to sell, not sit. A comparative market analysis from a local realtor will demonstrate what other properties have sold for in your neighborhood. Well-priced homes sell faster with less hassle. Houses are selling fast and sellers are getting top dollar. For all the answers, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Well, hi, everybody. I think you're going to like this forecast because it's better weather news for at least a couple of days with less humidity today, sunshine, high temperature up to about 90. Clear skies, pleasantly cool tonight. Overnight low 63. Tomorrow more sun. We'll take the humidity down another notch, so fairly tolerable. The high in the upper 80s to around 90 on Saturday. Back to the standard forecast. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, widely scattered, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms with highs in the lower 90s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Got a lot of jobs to do this spring? Save now on Kubota's BX23S tractor, loader, and backhoe combo at Capital Tractor and check off that to-do list. Powering Alabama, Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272-9228. Now, Eddie, your wife sent me a story.
What?
Yeah, your wife sent me a story.
Lately,
Why'd you
Joey-
get all like tensed
Well,
up?
lately,
I feel
Joey,
like
she's
you
been
could back
bad.
up to a brick wall and suck out a brick right now after I said that.
I just, you know, between her and my mom, I don't like their interaction at the radio station. Worlds colliding. I don't
Worlds
appreciate it.
colliding?
Yeah, I don't appreciate that.
What do you mean worlds colliding?
I have different worlds. I have a family world. I have a radio station world. I have a real estate world, and I don't like when those worlds start colliding.
You do know the radio station world is like public.
Yeah, I know that's becoming an issue too. By the way, can we do?
And
something
I
about
thought
that?
your wife sent me a great story to talk about.
No, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I know how we can be, all of us, and sometimes I want to make sure she wasn't some story about me, something I did.
No, it's not a story about you. Relax your sphincter.
Thank you very much.
Goodness gracious.
Well, you know my wife. It's not like she doesn't enjoy embarrassing me.
That's true. But this is actually, it's not a local Alabama, well, not a local Montgomery story. It is local Alabama, as I think south as you can go in Alabama. 25 kilos of suspected cocaine washes up in Dauphin Island.
Oh, the old square groupers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office said 25 kilos of suspected cocaine washed up on the west end of Dauphin Island on Thursday. 25 kilos is equivalent to 55 pounds. That's a lot of coke.
What homo called the police?
He could only carry so much, so he said, "Hey, there's one bale left on the beach. I won't be here when you get here."
Dude, I would be. You think I talk a lot now? If I would have been on that beach when I found that, I'd be jibber jabbering so hardcore right now.
450 grand is the approximated value.
Wait, for how much?
For 55 pounds.
55 pounds.
I got, and that's not stepped on or nothing. You could do better.
And I'm looking at photos of it. It is, that's those are some
Square
bricks.
Yeah.
How many kilos? Because
25 kilos.
25 kilos. Metric system is superior.
Of course, a lot easier too.
But the sheriff's narcotics detectives conducted a search on the beach where the kilos are found, but no other packages were seen.
Anybody seen Hunter Biden down there lately?
I
Just
don't
curious,
know.
just putting that out there.
I'm starting to wonder if Joe partakes in the
The
cocaine.
cocaine? Was he going to do a drug test before the debate?
That's what Trump's demanding. But drugs. And this week we've gotten a crap load of calls, and you've been covering this for 1819 News, is the violent crime here in Montgomery, and now some of the response. Of course, I think you watched the city council meeting this week in full.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, of course, people can go read your reporting. Just look Craig Monger on 1819news.com and all the stories will pop up. But, like, what's your impression just sitting here a few days after reporting on it? You watched it on Tuesday night.
Gosh, it's infuriating because people are obviously upset. They're showing up. They're speaking at the city council meetings. You have C.C. Calhoun being a chode and trying to flex on people.
How so?
Well, I mean, like the way that he interacts with people. And, he's like, it's a lady's time ran out and he was telling her that she needed to sit down, and he's like, I need you to get her out of here. He's like, oh, you don't want to follow the rules. He's always like correcting the people that are speaking in a very
He's trying to be the enforcer.
Yeah, he's trying to be the
and run the
enforcer.
meeting.
Yeah, but it's in a really douchey way, like
Yeah.
not in like a So I'm not a huge fan of him. But then you obviously have the mayor gets up afterwards and speaks and immediately starts blaming everyone and everything else. It was really an embarrassing display because he blames constitutional carry, which is a laughable thing to blame the increased crime on. And then he's like, well, let me tell you what we did. And he's like, and he blamed the city council. He blames the legislature. Never takes any responsibility himself, never takes charge. Even if you feel like you're doing everything, it's still your responsibility.
Thank you.
So very much so the gaslighting that we saw in the Joy Reid article, Mayor Stephen Reed engages in that regularly. And I think that it's unfortunate that someone can engage in that level of sophistry without any shame or embarrassment. And I think that it shows very much like Joy Reid has contempt, I think, for her audience and believing that they're stupid enough to accept her sophistic and casuistic arguments. I think Stephen Reed does the same thing. He knows that he could pretty much drown a litter of puppies in the middle of City Hall and they would still probably
Well, you
elect
remember
him.
those tapes that came out a while back? He
Yeah,
pretty
he
much
did.
laid it out that.
Well, he is diabolical.
He's going to get
In fact,
it no
the
matter
most
what.
diabolical scientist you've ever seen.
So you're right. With his thoughts of, I think, the general public are not that high.
Yeah, when's the last time? I'll wait for this. If someone can show me an instance where Stephen Reed said something along the lines of, "My bad." Show me. Where? When has he ever said that was my fault? I shouldn't have done this. Yeah, I take full responsibility for X, Y, and Z. It's never happened.
He'll acknowledge problems, but he always couches it, and this is how we've been working on it.
Well, that's what he said at the meeting. Is like, I want everyone to know like what happened before we got here.
Right.
He's like, we wanted to do this this occupational tax in order to put 2 police in every cruiser. It's like, dude, you don't have enough. You don't have the police to put 2 in every cruiser.
And I found that bizarre because to me that occupational tax wasn't just going to be about police.
No, it was going to the general fund. Like it wasn't just going to police.
And also, you're already budgeted for a lot more officers than you currently have, so it doesn't seem like it's a money issue.
It's not.
It's not a money issue. It's a priority problem. And it's like, hey, by the way, the reason and hilariously, he brought up the murder of was it James Gunn or Gregory Gunn? I think his name was
Greg Gunn. Yeah.
Greg Gunn. He brought up the shooting of Greg Gunn, and that obviously turned into a whole big kerfuffle. But the general, and I've talked to many former Montgomery police officers, and I've actually written about this. They've gone on the record and saying that the reason they left the Montgomery Police Department is they feel like he threw that young officer under the bus. Yep. Because he did. And so you send a young officer whose name, God have mercy, is escaping me so badly right now.
E.C. Smith?
Yeah, Cody Smith. Yeah. So Cody Smith, the young officer, does what he's supposed to do, ends up shooting someone who was trying to hit him with a painter's pole, by the way. And the mayor did not have his back at all. The prosecution, the Montgomery County District Attorney, went after him. They won. And obviously now he's out and walking free because the Attorney General prosecuted his appeal. But so many people have left the Montgomery Police Department because they feel like Stephen Reed does not have their back. They feel like
and the
priorities.
appeal, and he's out now because the appeal was all about he didn't have proper counsel.
Yeah, I mean, that was the appeal, and then it was
his defense attorney was not very
It sure went quick. I mean, his appeal, all of a sudden, bang, bang, boom, he's out.
Well, his family claims, and I have yet to verify this, so I don't know if it's true. His family claims that his first defense attorney, now works at the DA's office and went to work for him directly after that case.
Wow.
So I've never seen the Supreme Court said that, and I've never seen them offer this an opinion. They said that they couldn't give him the relief he was looking for from the Supreme Court, but they highly recommended that he seek the relief that he eventually got that got him walking free. They said, we do not know how a properly informed jury could have convicted Cody Smith. I've never seen the Supreme Court say something like that, but that's all that to say. People are going to work for Derek Cunningham. They don't want to work for you. They don't want to work in your city. Well, first of all, because you got Tushy Grabber McGillicuddy in there, and secondly, because they feel like you don't have their back. They feel like, okay, you want us to go into these neighborhoods and police, and then when we do our jobs, even if I disagree with the way that policing is done in general, regardless of the fact, Cody Smith did his job, and a lot of people on the police force thought that Mayor Reed screwed him over in a big way and decided to start kissing the derriere of any person who had BLM on a bumper sticker in his general vicinity.
Well, and I want to ask some more follow-ups here.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate all this stuff. Like, you're doing all right today, Craig. You're doing okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Man, people are still asking, like, why are we wearing rags and stuff? I'm like, I don't know what people are talking about.
I think
it's hot outside.
Is there something on the camera? Let me make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that. Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and there at Pest Pro Services, Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you with all those pest control needs. And, you know, folks, you might as well make them your everyday pest control company. Just take care of everything.
That's what you want to do
across the board. But maybe you want to investigate yourself. I understand that. But what you're going to find are people like Eddie.
Yep.
People like, well, the entire river region. They've had to hire how many more folks? I lose number.
Oh,
like,
they're the
it
double
used to
digits.
be what Ashley and just one
Ashley
or two
and
other
Zach.
people. Yeah,
That's how I remember it. Ashley and Zach.
Right, and now it's a whole team, and they have to get a bigger building and all sorts
specialists
of
and
stuff.
everything, yeah.
And so there's the proof in the growth right there, folks. But of course, Eddie has used them for many a job.
Every day I've got termite inspections. These are people I call.
So maybe you want to start out with, a termite inspection, termite treatment, possibly. Maybe you want to get a mosquito treatment done, or it
That's
could be
worked
like
good for me.
an emergency, like the wasp nest in this shed is like something from hell.
Or termites are swarming in my house.
Right. It's certainly something from hell. So y'all call them up today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. So I'm assuming, Craig, you're not a fan of this $6 million crime intervention program?
No.
What? But I mean, he said it worked in other cities, major cities.
Like Chicago.
Yes.
Baltimore.
Wait, those are
the examples I heard.
Yeah. Those are the examples that he gave.
And would you feel safe going to either one of those cities right now with your family?
No, I would not. And again, that's the thing. I haven't been able to parse the data because, first of all, the data that the mayor and other officials of the city of Montgomery produce is very often spurious, and so I haven't looked at that. But I have a sneaking suspicion that those programs have been active in those cities for quite some time, and they're just now using post-2020 data to say, look, there's been a decrease in crime. That's my suspicion.
in like Oakland, Baltimore, and Chicago.
Yeah.
And is it not a one-time payment, but an annual payment?
An annual, $6 million. And of course, later today, they're going to be releasing orange balloons. That'll solve the problem.
How many cops could we hire for $6 million?
A lot.
Yeah, I
Maybe
saw
get some
that.
new equipment?
I saw that trending today. What is it? Wear orange is trending.
Yeah.
To end gun violence, by which they mean gun control. And so all this is happening because, yes, being tough on crime is butting up heads against folks that are worried about police brutality and mass incarceration. Literally have a lot of tourism being driven by that narrative here in Montgomery. Of course, those two things are butting heads. But I'm sorry, if you say actually push like true gun control, like you cannot have guns, screw your Second Amendment rights, how do you think the police are going to have to enforce that?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
wouldn't
Give
wanna
me
be
a
a cop,
freaking
dude.
break. And it's just another one of these stupid hashtag campaigns that accomplishes nothing.
No.
Other than maybe warming somebody's, oh, look at how good I am being on the right side of an issue I care about.
Yeah, and that
It's
is
just feckless
Yeah,
and
it is
flaccid.
feckless. It's a red herring because they pretend to be concerned about gun crime. It's like if you were actually concerned about gun crime, you would again. How did they do it in Phoenix City? In the previous century, how did they do it then? They brought in the National Guard and they wiped the Dixie Mafia essentially off the map.
Yep.
That's what's required. I'm not saying we need to bring the National Guard in, but we need to do something. You've lost control of your damn city.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well,
like
and it's-
they try to make a big deal too about Amy Dix. Like these people weren't even from Montgomery. It's like, oh great, so people find your city a great place to come in to work and to commit violent crimes, but not live here.
Right, and I keep saying this on air. The goal is not to run Stephen Reed out of office or just criticize him, crap on him. And that's going to come his way because of the things we're seeing. And he signed up for the job. I think he's more than capable of taking the heat. The goal here is to solve the damn issue underlying.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like, the feistiness is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting though, because going back to what you said, it's funny. He's sitting there in a city ridden with crime, and on one hand, and he knows he has to address that problem, but on the other hand, he's spent the past several years kissing the ass of every woke activist who wants to complain about police brutality and mass incarceration. So yeah, he has an unfixable problem here because of the connections and the dedications that he has, because as it turns out, you really can't solve a massive crime problem without busting a few heads. Like it's the way of the world.
You're going to find resistance. There's not a criminal out there that's going to say, "Oh, there's a cop. I better go turn myself in."
Yeah, exactly.
Believe it or not, they're going to, there's going to put up some resistance.
And then would you sign up to do that job while thinking, hey, if I'm like, say, for instance, a white officer and I end up in a lethal exchange with a suspect, am I going to end up doing prison time because a bunch of angry activists show up to my mayor's office and he bends and folds like a lawn chair? No, nobody wants to sign up for that.
You're right. And that, like you said, they're not having any hiring troubles at the sheriff's department.
No, not at all. In fact, there's a waiting list.
Exactly.
Well, we got to hit this break, and hopefully on the other side we'll have Michael Cohen. But first, this entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or refinance here in the area. And, I mean, they're great local folks. So you can actually sit down with them, get to know them, and they'll get to understand you and your goals of buying or refinancing. Of course, with refinancing, a lot of folks are using it to consolidate debt, get that credit card debt off their back. But it doesn't have to be like you're in a desperate situation. It could be just want to reconfigure your finances and accomplish a few goals, all sorts of investing in yourself, your property, maybe your family. And of course, when you're looking to buy, you want to go with the gold standard of pre-approval, and that is Alabama Home Mortgage. And they'll walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. So check out Alabama Home Mortgage. That number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368 and equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome to Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where they cherish their seniors. Dive into their $9.99 senior-sized meat and 3 lunch specials, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Each meal comes with a refreshing drink and a roll. It's time to savor the flavors that feel like home. Epicure and Jack's Tavern, where tradition meets taste.
Brunch lovers, rejoice. Every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Epicure and Jack's Tavern offers an exquisite brunch menu alongside their meat and 3 specials. Start your weekend right with the best local flavors. Remember, they're in the old Fantail building waiting to make your Saturday special.
Sunday, July 21st, 6:30 p.m. at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center, it's Wayne Newton live. Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton, takes the Impact stage for one night only, Sunday night, July 21st. Wayne Newton, up close and personal at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center, July 21st at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at the Impact box office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are y'all?
All right, especially because it's Friday.
Friday.
But it's like Friday every day for Eddie Bader.
That's what I hear.
I was about to say, did you?
How could we be as lucky?
Y'all got to get up pretty early in the morning and go to bed late at night.
All right, I can do half of that.
So how's it going today there at Cohen's on a Friday?
It's going great. It's been a very good day. Michael Jackson's been out rocking and rolling with his people. Had some people that I needed to get appliance tech out to, and I got Robert out there to check their unit, and it's been a beautiful day and a beautiful day outside.
And you still have the Summer of Smart Savings going?
That's right. That's right. And on Monday, there'll be 2 new units featured on Facebook as well as our website.
Very nice. Cool. And I'm looking at, a Google Nest doorbell for only $99.
That's what I got to come see you about. I'll probably come see you tomorrow about that, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely need one for the Airbnb.
All right. So that to me, that's just a stupid deal, and it's easy, it's cool, and it's like everybody needs at least one of those.
And so this pairs with your phone and just does surveillance at that door that you set it up with?
Well,
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
for me
right.
personally,
So if somebody
comes
somebody
in, it kind of
breaks
lets me
the
know.
plane,
Yeah.
it gives you notifications, and it's way cool. And it gives you a lot of security.
Very cool. And of course, when it comes to summer, people are always out there grilling, right? And you have those
That's
options.
Right. That's right. We have the Traeger grills for all of the pellet people. We've got the Kamado Joes for the people that like to smoke and use a lot of charcoal. And then we have Napoleon, which is more gas, although they do make a special tray that you can actually do some charcoal in their grill.
Oh, cool. Right. Well, folks, we've just scratched the surface of everything they offer there at Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. So you can always go to the website, thinkcohens.com. But I really encourage you to stop by like Eddie's going to do tomorrow. 2515 Eastern Boulevard, right here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael or one of the great team members and say, hey, I heard Michael on the radio with those guys.
That's right. Come see us.
I appreciate you, Michael.
See you tomorrow, Michael.
Take care.
Thanks, buddy.
Got to hit our top of the hour break. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The prosecution has rested its case against the president's son, Hunter, who was accused of lying on a federal gun purchase form when he said he wasn't using drugs at the time we brought a revolver in 2018. Prosecutors say he was actively using drugs and purposefully lied on that form. Nevadans will vote in primaries for Congress and the state legislature next Tuesday. Nevada held both presidential primaries and a presidential caucus back in February. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is trying to raise taxes on businesses in the city to close a big budget gap that emerged after she halted a plan to charge drivers a toll to enter the center of Manhattan. The Dow had 18 points, but the Nasdaq losing 36. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Weather is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
I'm Johnny Adams, your Alabama personal injury attorney with the Johnny Adams Law Firm. Stay weather alert all day long with the Rich Thomas Weather Network.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm liking the forecast for the next day or two, and I think you're going to like it as well. Tonight, mostly clear skies, pleasantly cool, overnight low 63. Tomorrow, more sunshine, but tolerable humidity. High in the upper 80s to near 90 on Saturday. Then back to a standard forecast Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, widely scattered, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms around, with highs mostly in the lower 90s and the humidity back up again. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
1819 News.
A leader within the Alabama House says it's insane what is happening within Alabama's prisons. State lawmaker Chris Pringle met this week with an attorney for the Alabama Department of Corrections in order to conduct a contract review committee meeting. Pringle revealed that he's getting many calls from family members who say their son is getting sexually assaulted or beaten up in prison and that the prison guards are bringing in the drugs and cell phones. Pringle also indicated that the federal government is not allowing the state to block these cell phone signals in order to thwart the gang activity. The ADOC attorney responded to Pringle's comments, saying the ADOC is making strides in this regard. A public hearing over the matter is scheduled for July 24th at the State House. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
An elderly inmate has died at the Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer. Jerome Burton was found unresponsive within the prison infirmary this Friday morning. Jefferson County coroner told CBS 42 News that Burton was under hospice care for multiple diseases. A $5,000 reward is now being offered for information on a triple homicide at a Hispanic grocery store in Montgomery. The murder victims were 50-year-old George Elijah Jr., 20-year-old Daniel Lopez, and 43-year-old Romero Lopez. The shooting occurred on Tuesday night of this week. Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed said the victims were targeted because Hispanics are perceived as easy prey for carrying more cash rather than opening up bank accounts. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River Region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River Region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
This afternoon, we've seen a whole lot of table banging.
It's not just about sex.
Stop playing with it.
Shut up, silly woman.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
I got worms.
Did you? And back in those days, you sure how things have changed. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap.
Joey Clark.
Shut up, Joe. Goodness gracious. Joe Biden, man. Welcome back to the program. I'm Joey. Eddie's here. He's the one wearing is that a pig on your shirt?
Yes, it is, baby.
And then Craig Monger wearing the champion athletic wear.
Barbecuing.
A pig that's barbecue. You're wearing that on the 4th of July, ain't you?
Nope, I got a better one. It's a T-Rex with lots of USA stuff on it.
It's just a T-Rex?
It'll be the T-Rex, American T-Rex coming out in 3D. And I have the shorts that are going to match.
I'm kind of interested in turning to our critic here.
Oh, I'm sure when Craig sees me, because he's such a nice guy, he will look away and say his smart comments and then look back at me and go, "You look great, Eddie."
Yeah. I have unique convictions myself, but I don't begrudge anyone else for wearing the old Star Spangled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate it.
No, I think it's a good shirt.
I think it's hysterical. I saw the pig on it and he's barbecuing. I'm like, oh, I gotta have that.
Did you just take it out of the packaging though?
Yeah, I just got it from China yesterday. So
I can still,
I
can see the creases.
Filthy, so you can't really iron them.
Oh,
I'm
no.
working on it.
Oh no, the fat American man. We don't sell double XL. No double XL.
Gigantica. Believe you me, I know. I have ordered from there one time a XL, just thinking it would fit. It might have fit my dog. But it was not.
Yeah, it really is a problem when you have to order from like Chinese places. It's like their double XL is not our double XL.
Not at all.
Not at all. Let's go to Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. Oh, man, not much. Hey, do you ever wonder when these Chinese people are making our random stuff they send over here, what they're thinking?
Oh, I can only imagine.
Like,
I'm hungry, probably.
That's a lot to do with it, yeah.
Probably so. I've worked 4 days straight.
Yeah.
No sleep. But you got cheap Temu stuff. That's always.
There you go. Can't get it nowhere else.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, are you hearing anything about who might be considered for chief of police here in Montgomery, or how much we're paying this supposedly search firm once again to search?
No. As far as candidates, no, I haven't heard anything. The city doesn't return my calls for the most part.
What?
No. They do. Not the police department, but the city's very good.
Okay. No, the comms guys.
The comms guys.
I like
yeah,
them.
yeah, he's good people. Okay. But no, I don't know anything about the proposal or how much they're spending on the firm. I'm sure I could find out. That's actually a good question. I need to find that out.
Yeah, I mean, we're spending more tax money now. Am I correct of saying when we placed in our last chief of police, was that a search firm who did that, or is that Stephen Reed's appointing somebody?
Well, I mean, it's not. It's they put when they put Albert in there, they did a whole big search. I don't know if they used a firm specifically, but they did.
I remember the search process.
Yeah,
anyway.
they did. It was a pretty extensive one, so they probably did, honestly. But as far as him being appointed out of the blue. There's been some speculation that the former Chief Albert was in some way, shape, or form related to Stephen Reed, and he denies that vociferously. So I don't know, but they did go through a process, and there was recommendations and all this other stuff. At least that's the story they're telling, and I have no reason to.
And he never really made that press conference. He was very quiet. He didn't exactly make it clear still why Albert had to resign.
Was let go. They never told us why he left. There's all this. Accusations and things that lady had come on your show and talked about, but they never said this is why he stepped down. The other question is to get paid after he left, but I mean that's water under the bridge, unfortunately.
Wait, say that again.
But
do you have a buyout?
No. He did not get paid. That's what Stephen Reed said clearly, that he does not get any sort of severance package.
Okay. I was curious about that too.
I mean, would you think that? I mean, y'all can speak. I mean, Eddie, you live in Titus. Craig, do you live in Montgomery?
No, I live in Deatsville.
Okay, you live in the fine city of Deatsville.
Oh yeah.
And so I mean, would I be wrong in saying this appointment of this police chief probably is one of the most important things someone's appointed to in probably 50 years?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's pretty dang important. I mean, it's a linchpin moment for the administration, that's for sure. So I mean, but honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, it was the same way whenever Chief Albert was put in there, and there was some criticism about his performance when he was in New Orleans, and no one seemed to care. So we'll see. Who the heck knows? I don't know of a single sentient being that would be gagging for this job right now. So it's going to be kind of difficult for them to fill the position.
Well, and then there's the angle of, is somebody going to present essentially a state takeover mechanism?
Well, reading or trying.
Yep.
Can't blame him.
Me neither.
What about? I mean, do you think that? I mean, Stephen Reed. We know he's extra liberal. I mean, that's not. I don't think that's a secret.
No.
Could you see him saying, you know what? I'm just going to continue on, and they bring up a person of a liberal persuasion as a chief of police, and say, hey, this is who we want to lead our police force? I mean, do you think, or is he going to say, look, man, I'm going to let them decide, and with whoever they bring to me, I'm going to go ahead and be behind it 100%?
I mean,
will he go his own way, or will he listen to supposedly this group that's going to find our chief of police, I guess?
I mean, well, they're going to present recommendations, and he'll make a selection. I have no reason to believe that he's going to make a recommendation that I think would be positive, just because past performance. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't think he cares that much. He's very busy hitting a national circuit, trying to develop clout. He's going to D.C. and New York and doing all this other stuff. I mean, he was gone for like 2 weeks doing all this other stuff. So I honestly don't think he cares, and I don't think he has to. I mean, the crime was just as bad whenever he got elected several months ago. Like he doesn't have to do much to get reelected. I'm not saying that that's not mystifying to me. It is, but that is the case. So why would he put more effort into, say, cleaning up the crime in the city whenever when his ambitions are far higher than the office that he holds now?
Okay, well, so that was my next question. Do you think this? I mean, I'm about to put on my conspiracy hat, because I know the money that follows Stephen Reed and also goes in the city of Montgomery. Do you think this is a strategy? A defund the police strategy?
No, I don't think it's a strategy. It's a terrible strategy to have crime rampant in your city. I'm not saying that he's a fan of high crime. It's not a good look. But no, he does have groups that he is beholden to, which is why he's in between a rock and a hard place right now, because it's very difficult to take the aggressive approach needed to clean up crime in the city while at the same time assuaging people that like to bitch and moan about police brutality and all this sorts of other stuff. So yeah, he certainly has to keep his national support, or his out of state supporters happy, because they'll keep writing him checks. But that's the point I'm making. He doesn't really have a solution that'll keep his base happy.
But we're just to quote him on the mayor on another show or something to the effect. That's just right wing radio and podcast talking points right there.
Yeah,
that blue cities are not doing right things.
It has nothing to do with actual stats.
Yeah, the thing that
old partisan hobby horse.
The thing that the mayor doesn't understand is that the gaslighting that he engages in very frequently, and his staff, by the way, it's
Chip
ineffective. Yeah, Chip Hill. It's ineffective on people who aren't stupid. So it means nothing to me. The excuses that he makes, the mindless babbling that Chip Hill does on Twitter, it means nothing to people that actually have the ability to think critically.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't have any faith in him to do the right thing.
Nope.
Or find somebody that's tough on crime. I mean, it's just not in his wheelhouse, if he's even here at all. And I think a lot of people in the city of Montgomery realize he's just not the man for the job, and he's not even at the job, and that's even the worst part about it.
Well, and Chris, I don't often do this, but you've been listening to me for a while. Would you say that for years I was more than happy to give not just the mayor, but when they hired Chief Albert, all these folks a benefit of the doubt, see what happens?
Sure.
Yep.
And you got them on
every
your
time.
radio, and you ask them questions, and and some other times they bowed up to you, but yeah, you're right. You did give them the benefit. You did not attack them full hand, as soon as they were elected or whatever. I mean, Stephen Reed during COVID, he had a tough job. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff he did, I'm not going to say what I want to say, but that was a tough job. Okay. But now the crime has gotten out of control. People don't feel safe. And it's just not, I mean, let me tell you right now, the days of people going down to the city hall and going to these meetings, man, you'd go down there, there wasn't anybody there. And now people their eyes are open and they're watching their property values go down and their kids leaving and not coming back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so they're going, dang, man, I got a vested interest in here or I'm going to have to leave.
Well, and it really is unfortunate because I think it's a pretty common, even amongst, smart liberals, pretty common phrase these days. Well, this is just kind of the cost of freedom and protecting human rights.
No.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But that's the excuse that's given.
Yeah. I hear it all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I appreciate the call, Chris.
Hey, y'all have a great weekend. I like the Friday show. Y'all do a good job. It's the Three Musketeers.
Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate it, Chris. 272-9228. Oh, did y'all see that Pat Sajak is hanging it up?
Yeah, got a couple shows left.
Yeah.
Apparently this is his banner year, though, because he only has a few shows left. He's having a good time doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't really have much to do with what we were just talking about, but I wanted to do a little
just
bit
wanted
of
to look at Vanna.
No, this is not Vanna. This is Pat.
Vanna, pick me a letter.
This is Pat talking just straight on about it.
Come to say goodbye. I have a few thanks and acknowledgments before I go, and I want to start with all of you watching out there. It's been an incredible privilege to be invited into millions of homes, night after night, year after year, decade after decade. And I've always felt that the privilege came with the responsibility to keep this daily half hour a safe place for family fun. No social issues, no politics, nothing embarrassing, I hope, just a game. But gradually it became more than that. A place where kids learned their letters, where people from other countries honed their English skills, where families came together along with friends and neighbors and entire generations. What an honor to have played even a small part in all that. Thank you for allowing me into your lives.
Pat Sajak, folks. And, it is interesting, these folks that you just take for granted, that's Wheel of Fortune's on, you forget that's a real human being right there.
Yeah.
And that's, I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about Pat Sajak.
He's sort of the last one, isn't he? I mean, you had
Bob Barker.
You had Bob Barker, Alex Trebek, and now him. I mean, who else is left as far as the historic game show hosts?
Not much. No.
Yeah.
Drew Carey.
Well, it's getting to where Drew Carey and Steve Harvey will be a historic game show.
Drew Carey did make the comment a few weeks back, I ain't never leaving this gig. This is the best gig I've ever had.
Well, to me, Drew Carey is the Whose Line Is It Anyway host.
Always.
It's not
Always.
yeah.
Well, and then Wayne Brady's doing Let's Make a Deal, I think, or The Price is Right. Or
I like Wayne Brady, but I don't see him in the popular role of it. I don't know when the show's on or anything like that. So.
Yeah, but even if Steve Harvey does like Family Feud for a long time, it's just not the same.
You missing the Richard Dawson?
It's a different era.
The drunk Richard Dawson that come out and slip the tongue into the women that whether they appreciate it or not.
Oh, there's some. Eddie showed me the Gong Show, old Gong Show, where one of the talents, it's just too young. They had to be like what 20?
Let's
if
say
that
they're over 18. Let's
hope they were over 18. No, and dressed like normal 70s chicks. They walk out, they sit down, cross their legs. Just sitting down on the floor, and they break out 2 orange popsicles, and they start eating the popsicles.
That was the talent on the Gong Show. And they didn't get gonged either.
Yeah, and they're not biting them.
No.
It's like that popsicle's enjoying it as much as they're enjoying the popsicle, is my point. And it's like, man.
I saw that clip, and I used to watch the Gong Show regularly. I don't remember that. I remember Big Gene, the dancing machine, that fat guy that used to come out and dance. I used to love the Gong Show, but now looking at that, why did my parents let me watch the Gong Show? What the hell were they thinking? I didn't need that kind of stuff in my life.
272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, Gene, the dancing machine. That brings back memories. This is Papa B.
What's up, Papa B?
Yay. I used to love the Gong Show, man.
Now, do you think the host of the Gong Show, was he CIA? You know, there's always that thing there that he was CIA the whole time. Even a movie about it, yeah.
Yeah, well, who knows? Never can tell, I guess. But the one that got me was this episode where every one of them were singing that song, Memories, nothing more than memories. And I mean, every single act they had lined up was singing this song. And, you know, of course, they were gonging them left, right, sideways. So anyway, finally just drop dead gorgeous pin-up model got up there. And one of the women wanted to gong her, and the men were like grabbing the woman, whoever the woman celebrity was, they were grabbing the gong out of her hands.
Yeah.
He couldn't gong her.
Unknown Comic. He came out on there, too.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, and Pat Sajak, you know, what a class act. You don't see that much anymore.
Not at all.
No, they all have, you know, some sort of political agenda that they want to crash the party with. How refreshing is that, you know?
You think Pat Sajak's going to go the way of Johnny Carson? He's done?
I think he's done.
So after he's like retires, then that's it. He just got a few weeks to live.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I think he's just going to enjoy life.
He's smart enough to go, I'm taking my money and I'll see you losers later.
Yeah, maybe so. But, yeah, you know, what I get, how old is Pat Sajak? It just seems, you know, I look at these folks and I'm like, good night. Why aren't these people dead already?
My guess is late 60s, 70s, but he looks great.
Yeah, he looks really good.
And the only political thing I've ever seen him do is, you know, Peter Robinson, who hosts Uncommon Knowledge, has for years and years and years. Well, it was an anniversary episode of Uncommon Knowledge and about the fall of the Berlin Wall and the speech Reagan gave, which Robinson wrote. And so instead of Robinson hosting his own anniversary, they invited Pat Sajak, who apparently was a long Reagan guy, like a very conservative guy.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, I felt like
I'm getting a text. He's 77.
Wow, he looks
77.
great for 77.
Terrific for
He was young. He must have been very young when he first started then.
Wow.
But anyway, he looks great for 77, right? I would say this about all this kerfuffle, murder, rampage going on in Montgomery. I'm going to tell you, there are people that will sit there and say, oh, well, you can't blame Stephen Reed. I dang well can, too. You know, I'm telling you, man, if you look, I mean, if I were to draw you a mental picture, at every crime scene, there's a track of bloody footprint exiting that scene and going straight to the mayor's office. And you might say, oh, well, he didn't do, well, it's a dereliction of duty at the very least. We didn't have all this. So we all of a sudden we get Mayor Reed and, you know, the world comes unglued, unwelded at the seams and it's flying apart. Yeah, you can blame Mayor Reed. You dang well can, and his administration, because they're the ones on whose watch it fell. I tell you what, if it had happened on anybody else's watch, particularly one of the prior mayors, don't you know Stephen Reed would be hollering like a banty rooster? Don't you think he would?
Well, I'm not sure what a banty rooster is, but sure.
Okay, a rooster. He'd be crowing about it. There'd be a lot of political hay made, let's put it that way.
Well, it certainly wasn't like this under Todd Strange, was it?
No.
There were bad years, but it wasn't the general trend like it's saying.
Not at all. Well, anyway, I had this guy. You know, these people would get on there and say, "Oh, well, we got to all pull together. Steve Greer can't do it himself. He's not doing it at all. He's not even trying."
Right.
What do you mean he can't do it on his own? He's counterproductive if anything.
Well, and he's to blame for
Anyway.
the things he can actually control. And yes, having a leadership and administration of the city, especially the police department, that's effective, is something he can control. He can't control every person who decides to end an argument with a gun.
Correct.
But you can start going into a general direction. That
Well,
would
let me ask you this,
bring back
Joey.
deterrence to the streets is the way.
Right.
You
Well, let me ask you this: you're a police officer,
Mm.
and all of a sudden, Stephen Reed does a 180 and says, "I've got your back. Go do what needs to be done." Are you going to trust him? I'm not as a police officer, because the first person I have to really get rough with, especially if I'm white and they're black, he's going to stick CNN on them. He's going to roast them on the blame pyre down in the middle of Montgomery.
Right.
There's no way he's lost trust. He's lost faith. It's time for somebody else to do something else, and he's not the one to do it. Not him or his whole crew.
But he's the one with the
all right, guys.
responsibility and position. Appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah, no, and it goes way back. I remember living in Capitol Heights. I had that little BMW Roadster.
Your Miata?
BMW Z3.
Oh, yeah, I remember that thing.
Yeah, I love that.
That was a cool little car.
I like that thing a lot.
It was. It's like a Miata. Rev it up, watch it go.
Yeah, no, those still sell for a good amount.
Actually,
like even these 90s ones.
I seen one the other day, and the guy had souped it up really good.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a sweet-looking car, and he passed me. I was doing 80. He passed me like I was doing 20.
Wow.
Yeah, with a top down.
Oh yeah, see, I had the 96, so it was only a 4-liter.
Yeah.
And so it didn't have a lot of giddy up.
This guy had a V8 in it, no doubt.
Oh, goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
no doubt.
But it was James Bond's car. Like for me, it the first James Bond movie I see is GoldenEye.
Yeah.
And that
That's your
car is
James
in
Bond
that
guy,
movie.
yeah.
And he didn't have he had that turquoise, almost crystal looking one. But I kind of missed that thing. But
Fun
it was
cars.
red and you would see it. And people, of course, there's money in there. So when I'm living in Capitol Heights, I'm like, there's nothing in there. And so the window got busted.
Remember that?
And it actually was kind of bizarre. It was two young girls knocked on my door at 2 a.m. I was asleep on the couch.
Really?
It was, I think, a Friday going into a Saturday. And I'm asleep on the couch and I hear it. And they said, somebody busted your window when we were walking the neighborhood. Just wanted to let you know. I'm like, okay. And they said, oh, they got blood on the thing. So the officer was almost excited. Oh, we got blood. We might be able to get a DNA sample. So I didn't at that moment go, look up at the sky at 2 a.m. and go, Todd Strange. No, it's like some poor freaking devil soul decided, there might be
There's some
something in
change
this
in there.
thing.
Yep.
And it's just like,
Well, there's some change in there. And honestly, as sad as it sounds, I've seen them bust out literally a window of a car because they could see a visual dollar. They could see $1.
yeah. Well, I started just leaving it unlocked. And,
That's
and people
honestly
would
the
rummage
smart thing to
through
do.
it, and it's like, there's nothing in
there's
there.
nothing in there.
Right.
And you know what? It's a lot cheaper than
Though,
buying another window.
How about this? That same car, I moved to Forest Hills, and my roommate at the time, and still good friends, Jonathan, is helping me move stuff because he's moving his stuff out too at the same time. So we worked all day, so he just spent the night on the couch, got a pizza. He was parked in the driveway, so I left my BMW Roadster on the street again.
Uh-oh.
Next day, again, I leave it unlocked because
That's
no
smart.
need to bust a window. You can
Right.
look. Again, this is the first night I spend the night there. I go out to the car, and it's clearly been rummaged through. You can see it before you even open the door. But when I open the door, on the passenger side is help me because I'm a tard when it comes to firearms, but it was a fully empty clip. Magazine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no bullets in it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like the guy rummaging, it fell out of his pocket or
Yeah, he probably
something.
found that in
And
another
it was
car.
just sitting there right on my passenger seat. And I'm like, well, welcome to the neighborhood.
Wow.
Now, I
At
didn't
least
have
you were
any problems after that. Thank
You were
God.
smart enough to leave it unlocked, though, because you would have, you would end up with another broken window. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I give
Now
you
I
that.
got a garage.
I don't have to do that, and I don't have to do that in Deatsville.
Nor do I.
Funnily enough.
Oddly enough, my house, and I probably shouldn't say this on the radio, but 9% of the time it's unlocked. My keys are usually in the car and in the boat. We just don't. My neighbors, same way. Just
Right.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it.
No.
Right.
I have a decent security system at the house, though, because of, recent troubles.
Well, of course.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's peaceful. Kids will go out and play. Like, we live in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Right.
So there's not really that
That's
problem.
kind of the benefit that I see of living in the middle of nowhere.
It's great.
The people that do live out there, they're like me. They look out for each other. And we live out there for a reason.
You know your neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, you do a little bartering here and there. You help them out. They help you out. You help them move some stuff, and then you get some deer meat. It's a good little gig that you have out there.
Well, and I was friendly with the neighbors in Forest Hills and stuff, at least knew them. So, like, mail sent the wrong thing. And luckily, nothing else happened. But it is interesting how these historic neighborhoods now, especially the periphery of some of these historic neighborhoods, they get worse and worse.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, Duke said he just moved to, like, the Woodley Road area. Man. Yep. It's just, we'll see. Trends.
Yeah.
You can't change it overnight, and you're not responsible literally for every other action of all the people that choose to do wrong. But you are responsible for administering the city of Montgomery in a way that actually keeps the citizens safe. Yeah. And pointing the finger. And I'm getting tired of, we have separation of powers in our governments for all sorts of really good reasons I don't disagree with, but I'm getting real tired of the judges point at somebody and the DA points at somebody else and the legislators pointing and the governor and the mayor's pointing. It's just
like when you start screaming about a road being
and half the time the arguments over national news narratives that we can't even do anything about. This is literally something that is your responsibility that you can do something about. Don't get me wrong, I like arguing about the national news narratives. It's what we do here. But damn it, it seems to just bleed into the greatest thing for Montgomery, especially if you want to make it a new South City with the first black mayor and all this stuff. Maybe we could have a unique identity that isn't the same crap that's been tried in every other big city in America.
It's like, we're going to get an Amazon distribution center. They like to boast about the economic development. And it's like, yeah, people are working here, but they're not living here. Nobody wants to live here except for Joey, but he's psychotic.
No, I got a two-car garage now.
Honestly, you're right, though. There's a lot of people we talk to on the regular that want to move, but they are trapped.
Yeah.
Economic reasons have them trapped.
Yeah.
And the house that they bought years ago, they thought they could sell and possibly make a profit. No, not happening.
No. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it is a beautiful city with a very rich history. And there's conversations that people like Stephen Reed are incapable of having because they conflict with their preconceived ideologies and their commitments to certain ideologies. And because of that, it just keeps getting worse and worse. We all know cities are worse than other areas for crime. That happens ubiquitously.
Right.
But him blaming the constitutional carry, the permitless carry, the safest states in the country are the ones with the loosest gun laws, with the least restrictive, less restrictive than Alabama, even Vermont, New Hampshire, places like that.
Right. Well, and it's just the classic gun control argument. If we just done this one thing, like Congress will do it after a mass shooting. Well, let's have like these background checks. Would that have stopped the shooting? Well, no, but we got to do something, and it's all posturing in different ways. And
tell me one thing they've done after a knee-jerk reaction after a shooting that's ever done anything good. Give me one.
Right. Well, and here's the deal: violence, and in particular, guns, are a reality.
Yeah.
And even if you want gun control, how are you going to get rid of the guns? You're probably going to need officers with guns.
Yeah.
Well, they
able to administer violence.
They say they can't get rid of all the illegals here in the U.S. that are here now, but they keep saying they can get rid of all the guns that we have. I think the latter is going to be a little bit harder than they really anticipate.
Yeah, right. Because I can't hide an illegal alien in my glove compartment.
Thank you, Craig.
Maybe I could, but it would be unethical.
272-9228. You've made me laugh for real several times a day, Craig. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And they're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and that fantastic team of his are ready to help you with your roof. Could be a metal roof, asphalt roof. And, you know, there's a reason folks are calling them the premier roofing contractor here in the area. Because, number one, their inspections and estimates are always free. And those, in your experience, estimates are always accurate.
Very accurate every time.
They show up on time. They get the job done well. They don't leave a big mess behind. No fast food bags, no extra nails on the ground.
Nothing. Incredibly professional. cannot recommend them enough.
And they're also a team of insurance specialists. So if they do find a problem with your roof, your insurance might cover. They can walk you through that claims process, make it an easy and swift experience. You know, you should be getting your roof inspected, I would say, every year. And because of those free inspections, go with River Region Contracting. That number, 3568635. That's 3568635. And be sure to tell Todd Clark and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellows on the radio, sent you.
News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
It's time to kick up your heels and let your hair down when Asleep at the Wheel hits the stage at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center.
Get your kicks out on Route 66.
Asleep at the Wheel brings the fun to the Impact. Sunday night, October 13th.
Pat said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln.
Get your reserved seat tickets now at the Impact box office, Ticketmaster.com, or charge by phone at 334-481-5100. Asleep at the Wheel has been playing for audiences for over 50 years, and they're bringing their Western swing music to the Impact Sunday night, October 13th. Be sure to catch Asleep at the Wheel for their Happy Trails Until We Meet Again tour for a night of music and memory.
Till we meet.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Madeline Cannon with Alabama Home Mortgage. Getting pre-approved is the first step towards home ownership. People are often scared or nervous about taking that first step, but I'll tell you, it's nothing to be scared of. At Alabama Home Mortgage, we will take the first step and every step along the way with you. Call us at 567-4223. We will gather the information needed to tell you exactly what you qualify for. After a call to Alabama Home Mortgage, you will know what price point to shop for, what down payment is required, if any, and what your monthly mortgage payment will look like. We take all the guessing out of it. Then, when you find the house you want to make your home, you are ready to make an offer. Along with your offer, you will submit your Alabama Home Mortgage pre-approval letter. This shows sellers that you've already taken the steps necessary to ensure that you qualify to purchase their home. Wait no longer. It's time to take that first step together. Call me at 567-4223 or start the process online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
That's Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm liking the forecast for the next day or two, and I think you're going to like it as well. Tonight, mostly clear skies, pleasantly cool, overnight low 63. Tomorrow, more sunshine, but tolerable humidity. High in the upper 80s to near 90 on Saturday, then back to a standard forecast Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Widely scattered, random, mostly afternoon and evening storms around, with highs mostly in the lower 90s and the humidity back up again. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Check out our special spring savings on Kubota zero-turn mowers, like the Kubota Z411. At 10 miles an hour, it makes cutting around bushes, beds, and trees a breeze. Powering Alabama. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. We're just easing into the end of the show here. And I was thinking about things we've learned today. Nights of Pleasures. Nights of Pleasure. Thank you for that term, Penny. I'll have to use that.
Oh, I thought that was a movie. I've been trying to for that movie the whole time.
No, do not be doing that. Yeah. That is not very...
I couldn't find one.
Sounds like a book that you get for like $2 at a drugstore.
With some like ripped guy with the lady laying on him.
And he's wearing lots of satin for some reason.
No, it's after Stone Cold saves Stephanie from The Undertaker, and she's just holding on. He's not even hugging her back, and she's just hugging her. Yeah. You know the scene I'm talking about.
I was thinking more of Fabio, but okay.
What's that guy up to these days?
I don't know. Since the time he got his face bashed in by that bird on the roller coaster, I haven't really heard much of him since then.
Anyway, let's go to Joe. Hey, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Hey, guys. Got a question for you, Joey, Eddie, and your guest. With the loosening of gun laws and the proliferation of gun sales, are we safer today than we were before that legislated action?
The constitutional carry has a very small effect on safety. That just meant that you didn't have to purchase a permit. So I think it has a negligible effect on safety.
Okay, you say we're safer?
No, I'm saying it's safer with more guns. Yes, I would make that argument thoroughly because the data lays that out pretty clearly.
I had an opportunity to talk to a patrol officer, and they pulled over a car, and they went up, asked for the license, insurance, and who was carrying a weapon. Well, the two guys in the back had AR-15, and the two in the front had Glocks. He could smell weed in the car. So I asked him, what did he do? He said, I told him to be careful and go on. He was outgunned. There was nothing that police officer could do with four loaded AR-15 weapons in that car. So this is what we're up against. And you talking about the police in their role. I think the fear for their life is the biggest driving factor right now. They're outgunned. They do not feel comfortable getting involved in a gunfight.
Well, they were just as outgunned before, but I think you could more easily. What data are you referring to there? That they're more outgunned now than they were, say, 10 years ago.
A few minutes ago, what law? Well, when Clinton outlawed the assault weapon ban, there was a reduction in mass shooting. So we see that it did have an effect in the 90s.
You mean the law that's still in effect right now?
I was wondering.
No, it's not in effect.
It absolutely is.
Bush repealed it.
No, he didn't. You're just simply incorrect on that.
And the court has overturned it.
So the assault weapons ban Clinton's assault weapons ban is still in effect. I can't own an automatic. What it applied to is automatic weapons and weapons of a certain barrel length.
Technicalities. The AR-15 can be bumped up. You know it I will. That police officer knew. He could not get in a gunfight.
I
We saw it
promise
in
you. I
Texas.
promise you. I know more about AR-15s than you do, and I'm
Well, I
telling you
know
that
you do,
I'm telling
because
you
you're
that,
an advocate for it.
correct, and so are the writers of the Second Amendment. But
And the
the
people-
point
and
the
the-
point I'm making is that the assault weapons ban that you referenced that dropped down mass shootings,
Well-
it is in effect as we speak.
Well, they didn't help those police officers you all protected when those babies were being killed. They was outgunned.
Yeah, and
by
but
assault
you're
weapons.
missing my point. My point was they're just as
No, I'm not
outgunned
missing your
now
point.
as they
I
are.
know.
You would really
I know your
get my
point.
point if you didn't interrupt me when I was talking. But they are just as outgunned now as they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. The difference is there's been a cultural shift that makes people afraid or unwilling to take on the job of being a police officer because they don't believe that the community or their city leadership has their back. That's
Well,
why you don't have people
young man.
jumping up to become a police officer.
You finished?
I am
Young
indeed.
man, I do not feel safer with more guns on the streets and the caliber that they're carrying. I think most Americans would agree with me on that.
And what
Have a
caliber
good
is
day,
that?
And y'all have a
And
good
what caliber
weekend.
is that?
Well, you technicality. You go ahead on that.
You're talking authoritatively on a subject about which you know nothing. So excuse me for wanting to
You
get
think I know
clarification.
nothing.
You didn't know that
I
the
know
assault
more
weapons
than you
ban was
think.
still in effect. You didn't know the
You're
Clinton's assault
advocate
weapons
for-
ban was still
you're
in
advocate
effect.
for people out there killing each other.
How,
Have
says
a
who?
good day.
Says who? You delusional dum dum. Who said it? When did I say that, dummy? Okay, bye bye, stupid. Good job.
Well, I kind of read between the lines. You kind of, I think you just wanted to kill people.
Yeah, totally. Well, one person individual, in particular. Young man, are you finished? Yeah, it's called a conversation. I talk, then you talk. It's pretty simple. I learned it in kindergarten.
Well, and like where I would have gone with that is okay. There are too many guns. How do we get rid of them?
Well, the fact is, there are plenty of guns, but the problem with guns are relegated to very specific areas. And when there's just as many guns in New Hampshire as there are in Alabama, but Alabama has a pretty unique problem. And again, I think the cultural conversation around that is important.
Yes.
Specifically with the point that I was making about police. Yeah, the reason why you have people not wanting to hop up and join a police force is the same reason that people aren't hopping up and down to join the military, because there's been a massive cultural shift about how we view things in general in this country. And look, going back to Cody Smith.
Yeah.
He was a young cop. By all accounts, I've talked to several people who worked with him. The kid was a Mormon. Like, he's not actually a Mormon, but he was a straight cut, just clean, clean cut
By the
guy,
book,
by the
certainly.
book,
Yeah.
by the book. And he got put in a position, and he did what any cop would do in that situation. And he got thrown under the bus. And I've talked to multiple police officers who now work, say, at the sheriff's office, who say that they left Montgomery because they feel like Stephen Reed didn't have their back. Now, you can try to blame as many inanimate objects as you want, but that is a cultural problem, not a mechanism problem. There are just as many guns now as there were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
No, and there are a lot of people calling in and also messaging me with praise for you. And I'm not as disagreeable as you.
I'm sorry.
No, I think it's a good thing.
Well, it's 'cause
That's
by
why we bring
Friday-
you on the show.
By Friday, we're beat down.
No,
Craig is fresh out of the box,
But
baby.
you know
He's
me.
ready to
I
go.
always want to understand people,
Yeah,
much to my
You could be
discredit.
10-ply because you're just a nice guy. You're a really nice guy.
Yeah, until I get pushed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a
that's the
name for
problem.
that. I
I'm
can't think of
happy to have a conversation, but when you start trying to, first of all, don't try to big boy me with like telling me some information. No.
I haven't heard a young man in a while.
Yeah.
No, and my
Baby girl.
response,
Baby girl.
when people were doing that to me, it's like, well, you're obviously a young man. Is like, careful, because the proper proportional response to that is, oh, well, you're obviously an old man.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, folks.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hello, Montgomery. Mark Talley here, host of The Score on WCOV Fox 20. I'd like to invite you to join us weekday mornings at 6 on Fox 20 for the latest sports news and insight. You can also check out show clips or stream entire episodes of The Score at WCOV.com. On The Score, we bring you the best high school, college, and professional sports news for Central Alabama. Join us on The Score weekdays, 6 a.m. on WCOV Fox 20.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Got a lot of calls rolling in here, so let's quickly go to Terry from Prattville Carpet. Always love talking to Terry. How you doing, Terry?
I am doing good, Joey. Listen, Eddie said it'd be a couple of minutes. I was ready to have my lunch there. I mean, I've just walked in. I've been running crazy since Ray's been gone for the last, I don't know, what is it, 6 months or so? I don't know, when was the last time we saw him? Ray, yeah, Ronnie's saying, Ray who? It's actually been bliss here. So it's been really easy to go, and all the guys are all happy, and Monday is going to be completely different because Ray comes back. So,
oh no,
Yabu sucks. But listen, we're still working. We're flat out just now. David is out. Well, he's actually gone on vacation, but he's been out measuring. Chad's out measuring at the moment. Bart's in here with a customer. I've been out dealing with all sorts of stuff that we're doing. The first thing you need to do if you're looking for any kind of flooring, everybody asks, your name's Prattville Carpet, but do you do wood? Do you do tile? Do you do LVP? We do it all. We do it all. Anything on the floor, anything to do with tile, a shower, we do it. First thing is, give us a call. 285-8117. We'll come out, we'll do a measurement, we'll discuss things with you, we'll look at what we need to do, what do we take up, what do we put down. It's pretty painless, very easy. We do it free of charge. We'll give you an estimate, and generally within a week or two, you've got new floors, a new shower, whatever you want to do, and it's, everybody's happy. But it starts with that phone call, 285-8117.
Well, I appreciate it as always. And again, folks, 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Terry on the radio.
And when you come and tell them you heard us on Joey's program.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, I'm sorry it's come to an end that Ray will be returning soon, but great hearing from you, Terry.
Good to hear you guys. Have a good weekend.
You too, Terry.
Let's go to
Joey's program.
That is Glaswegian, right? He's from Glasgow?
No.
I don't know. We don't have him on anymore. But
yeah.
Hey, Cooter.
Hey, I don't want to get into a political argument with anybody, but the Clinton assault weapons ban expired in 2004. It started in 1994 with a 10-year sunset, and it was not renewed.
Are you sure about that?
I'm reading it right now, and it also says the ban takes effect. Since the expiration date, there is no federal ban on the subject firearms or magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds. This is no federal ban. If that's saying there's no state ban on some of them.
Yeah, but the federal assault weapons ban had more than magazine capacities in it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm reading it, but the Clinton Wall Weapons ban, I'm reading it right now on Wikipedia. It could be wrong, but it says It started on 94, 10-year sunset provision. It ended on 2004, and it's not been renewed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the provisions have though. I'll do more. I'll do more research and find that out. But I'm pretty darn sure. But we'll see.
All right, I just wanted to tell you what I saw there. I appreciate all of y'all.
Thank you, Couture. Let's go to Mr. Pink. Hey, Mr. Pink.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right, how you doing, bud?
Man, I just got off work early, man. I'm finna go to Dolphin Island, man.
Braggers. Damn braggers.
I was actually finna call and say, where the white women at?
Yeah, don't come around my house. I don't have
Ain't
any.
none in here.
No, they had that lady on earlier. She said she was looking for Leon Phelps. All right, guys, I'm trying just keep it light, man. I'm finna go down and catch the end of this fishing tournament and see the white women. Just looking though, I got one. So not a white woman, but I got a miss. So,
I'm glad it's all cleared up.
Yeah, we like to look at pretty stuff.
That's it.
Whatever she said.
That's it.
All right, fellas. Y'all
Have a good weekend,
man.
Mr. Pink.
Craig Munger, whenever I got something passionate to argue with you about, I'm coming for your ass.
All about it. You want to argue about white women? I'll do it all day.
Let's go, young man. Y'all take it.
You too, Mr.
See you,
Pink. Have a
buddy.
good one, bud.
And we're pretty much out of time here. Goodness.
That was
gracious.
great. That was great.
Good show, man. Good show. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys this Friday.
Yeah, and I thought we looked good today.
Yeah, I think we looked really good.
Yeah, somebody made a meme of us already.
You gonna send me that? Really want to blast that out there.
Yeah, I can send that to you.
I got a weekend full of memes coming up. So.
And we've got only a few seconds left. Randall, how are you?
I'm all right, man. So to run this down, hey, Craig, let me tell you what you need to go do. You need to go to get the briefing before that police went out that morning. They told them anybody in that area that's out at that time of night, you put them in handcuffs. They told them that, but not that morning, but on the third shift. They told that boy that. They put him in the car by himself. It was all set up to lead to this. And let me tell you about the Miss America thing. You know that they're done a transsexual at the same time in Maryland. And guess what? Donald Trump okay the first transsexual when they didn't let it happen, and he overruled it in back in 2006, man. So now we got Donald Trump with this coming up. So this is about to hit the paper good. So she was trans. So man, and then on the dang, I guess we do got plenty of time on it. I ain't think he's gonna let me get that far. But
I was like, we're pretty much out here.
Yeah, I know. On Cardi B, we supposed to find out she's a man. And then, because you also know how fine they're looking. They are looking fine. And let me tell you, the president, the mayor became the president of the African American Association of Mayors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're using as a cover to go around. He graduated from Virginia, from a college in Virginia. Actually went to that college, and that's where he was groomed at by the white folks to come be president. That's what I'm telling you. And that Craig said it right. They get them out there on purpose like this, and for in 21 years for one of these presidents. And I guess I'll let you start it up with that, baby, because I don't want to start on the other, man.
We're out of time.
We're out of time, Randall. Love you, brother.
Man, he got a lot out there.
They were right about the assault weapons ban, by the way. I was wrong. It expired in 2004, but there's the wires got crossed in my head about the ban on automatic firearms. So, Joe, you were right about that, but wrong about everything else.
Much like his love life.
Wait,
did I? Are we still on air?
No, like Joe is one person. Joey's another person. And I'll ban your love life in 1 second, big boy, and it's not going to have a sunset. No sundown time for you, Eddie. It's going to be done. No more gun for you. Go listen to the Kiss song, Love Gun, because that's what you're going to be wistful for after I'm done with you. Happy Hour with Greg Budell is next. Hallelujah.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Biden has spoken from Pointe du Hoc, marking his second trip to the Normandy coast during his visit to France for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The cliffs of Pointe du Hoc were scaled by Army Rangers during the invasion. America's employers adding 272,000 jobs in May. The unemployment rate edged up for a second straight month to a still low of 4% from 3.9%. The first heat wave of the year expected to maintain its grip on the southwest U.S. for at least another day as record-setting temperatures continue to soar. New record highs Thursday included 113 in Phoenix and 122 in Death Valley National Park. The Dow is down 11 points, the NASDAQ losing 30. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that.